Alrighty, people, what is happening? Appreciate y'all for being here with us. It's a great day to talk Dynasty rookies. And
that's right.
What's going on in your life, bro? Is anything new? Anything's changed recently? How we feeling? How we living?
Life is just great. God's doing great things in my life. Just continuing to grow and build my family and, build this amazing thing we started from the ground up and just spending time with people that I love.
Wow. That is transformational, if you ask me.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is.
Absolutely love it. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. We've got a great stream talking Dynasty rookies, talking what to do with your draft capital, reviewing your rookie drafts as well. It's all happening here. What's up, Chief? Appreciate you for being here with us.
How you feeling?
Family friendly show. What's up, McNugget? Daniel Macy's in the chat. Zach is here. Ben is here. That's either a different language or it's a question I don't know what the question is.
No idea.
Appreciate y'all for being here with us. We are going to do a giveaway today. We're going to give away sorry, my mind is everywhere. We're going to give away a trade question voucher. All right. Doesn't matter if you're a member with the promo code LAND on the Flock site or not. We are giving away a trade question voucher. So all you need to do is type LAND into the chat, LAND, and like the stream. Those are the two simple ways to be entered. Obviously, and then someone's going to win the voucher to get their question on the live streams through the Flock site. Appreciate y'all for being here. What's up, Zach? Doing well. Hope you're doing well. All black fit. Yeah, I just realized. What's up, Jacob? Yeah, all black fit. Shane says all black for both of us.
Because we dressed in all black.
So
tell me where that's from.
I released a video not today, but yesterday, Badaki, and it was basically a video where I was talking about who you can kind of like drop, hold, cut. I have never in my life seen so many people fight for the life of roster cloggers. I don't know if you've gone through the comment section at all, but the amount of people who are just like, okay, so I tweeted out just because I thought it was hilarious. And this is a real problem in the Dynasty community. People cannot let go of players that are not going to impact their roster at all. Like, we are notoriously bad at letting go. So, for example, like someone's like, you should not cut Mike Williams. Look, sure, if you're in a deep format, this is not this. You're not going to have Mike Williams from 2020. Like, Lamaconke is there now. Trey Harris was just drafted. Quentin Johnson is still around. Like, Mike Williams isn't going to have like a 100 target season here. You know what I'm saying? Someone's like, don't cut Lazard. And again, I'm not calling any of you guys out. That's why I put the names out so you can see them. But what are we talking about? You guys are going to hold Lazard over the Brashard Smiths, the Kyle Manon guys. You're not going to pick up Torrey Horton because you want Alan Lazard. People are, don't cut Brevin Jordan. What are we talking about? Am I losing my mind at this point? The Van Jefferson disrespect shows a lack of ball knowledge. So you guys are just notoriously
we need to call that dude out. That's crazy. My guy is the lack of ball knowledge for dropping Van Jefferson. Brother, we need to come together right now. We really need to look at Van. If you're saying that, I really hope you're watching this. If you're saying that and you really think Van Jefferson is like the next coming of God, then you're actually not even watching football.
Not even the next coming of God, just relevant.
Yeah,
just
relevant. You're not watching football at all. If you still, I mean, he probably went to a game wherever college he came from. I don't remember what college he came from. Was like, wow, that guy's really good. He's like, yeah, I saw Van Jefferson once. He should be a top receiver in the league.
Oh my gosh. And like, look, sure, some of these players might have like one or two relevant games, but you're just leaving these like dart throws on the waiver wire for nothing. I just don't understand it. Anyway, we love you guys no matter what. We love you. Someone says, I'm holding on to Naeem. I told my ACL by getting a jet ski, Hines. Anyway, we appreciate y'all for being here with us. A lot of people did not actually read, so unfortunately, this is the reality of creating content. People don't actually, they skip through and they don't hear context. And one of the names that was on the edge for me was Marvin Mims. And I said, in smaller leagues, you can move on from him. In bigger leagues, hold him, right? So I was specifically talking to like these people out there who are in like 8-team leagues with like
All right, I got a
15
phone call.
roster
1
spots,
second.
right?
We'll continue.
But unfortunately, people don't actually listen to context. And then, people are saying that I'm an idiot because of Marvin Mims. I'm just like, all right, look, I like Marvin Mims. That's why I said to hold him if you actually listened in larger leagues. But in smaller leagues, like where the Kyle Williams are available, and the Jalen Knowles, like, yeah, I'm gonna go see what those guys can do for me. But anyway, I just found that hilarious. We are notoriously awful. Yes, Alec Pierce is a roster clogger. We are notoriously terrible. Van Jefferson 7th-year breakout at just holding on way too long. I mean, the amount of teams that we review that have Trey Lance, that have Treylon Burks, like it's time to move on. What's up, JD? Welcome in. Jay's in the building. We appreciate y'all for being here. Today's stream is going to be completely built around helping people build great Dynasty football teams, helping them build championship Dynasty football teams. And if you guys want to get in on that action, I'll put a link in the chat that you can check out. But we're going to be getting through some team playbooks today. Team Playbook is a customized game plan for your offseason. We'll do your stream live, review your team live if you get the live tier, and then give you this game plan to execute. You can get that by becoming a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member. You'll get a voucher that you can use through the Flock store. And then just choose Zach and Badaki on that team review section. Make sure you get the tier live, though. You got to slide that up for a live tier if you want it shown on the stream. Otherwise, it will be an offline playbook. And I go through all those offline playbooks personally myself. I'm doing them all, and I'm writing up like basically an article for you guys about your team. So whether you choose to have it live or you choose to have it offline, completely up to you. But it's a great day to get your team in, whether you become an annual member, which the annual membership has a lot of perks on its own, which you can see here. Or if you just want to purchase one a la carte through the store, let's say you're a member with the promo code FLOCK and you still want to get a playbook from us, you can go through that same process, but you just won't have a voucher. All right. And so we appreciate y'all big time for being here with us. And let's get to well, first off, I just want to give a shout out to Easy EWG666. First off, you got to change the username, brother. All right, you can't be inviting the devil into the stream. But look, I love this. There was no intention behind this other than thanks for the work. He says just a donation. Keep up the work. You guys are awesome. I don't think anyone's done that on the Flock site before. I mean, we've had people super chat before on YouTube, but that's incredible. Thank you for showing some love. In fact,
I appreciate you.
I want to give you a free trade question voucher because I want you to get something out of it. So that will be in your inbox, but I appreciate you, man. Thanks for showing us some love there. All right, let's go to the first team playbook of the day, which is FireFist Pharaoh. And I believe this is a live. Yeah, this is a live one. So let's get to that one.
Yeah, and that playbook is already up there. Sorry, I had to step out. If you guys don't know, I'm getting my gallbladder out on Friday, so I'm not going to be here for the technically Thursday night stream. But if I get another call, it's probably because they're trying to make sure I have everything right.
Yeah.
But FireFist Pharaoh, thank you so much for the support. We appreciate you. And this is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 9. So that is our classic meat and potatoes here, which we'll put in the chat. And he says, I'm here. You're Jay Jackson. Okay, I'm assuming that's you. Just confirm once again, Jay, if that is you, you are FireFist Pharaoh. We appreciate you and thank you for your support. Looking at this team, 2-quarterback, 12-team start 9, half PPR, non-tight end premium. He says, I took over this dumpster fire orphan team in a 12-team superflex. The only quarterback on the roster was Carr. Oh, God. I had the 101. At least before you took over this roster, I was like, at least you got a quarterback. Now you have nothing, I'm assuming. I have the 101, 4 seconds and 4 thirds. Tried to move the 101, but no one wants to deal. And I was going to undersell the asset. Got the 109, 110, 112 during the draft and missed out on all quarterbacks QB advice. Okay. The Night King is your team name.
First thing, I want to applaud you for not, underselling Ashton Genty. As a rebuilder, it's difficult to go through a draft and nobody sends you an offer, and then you feel like you have to fold. To any rebuilders out there, do not fold. All right. You've got plenty of time. You do not need to sell Ashton Genty during the draft if no one's going to give you an offer that you like. The Night King cometh, which makes me think of which makes me think of the Nightman. The Nightman Cometh from, if anybody knows, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is one of the most underrated comedies of all time. But he is currently ranked, it looks like 10th. Wow, there must have been an update. I'm not a huge fan of that. The way
yeah, there is an update. So the way, yeah, I think there's going to be a couple changes. I think there was a couple of the people or other creators saying like ways that we can improve that.
Okay, right.
So I think it's the overall ranking on the top left. So you have your individual ranking and then the consensus. I think that's consensus ranking.
I imagine it's overall.
That's overall.
And then
that's overall
your
ranking.
And
then your individual ranking. Exactly. But I think there's going to be some things that we're going to change regarding that. But okay, let's have a look at this team here. Derek Carr and really nobody else. So you currently have no quarterbacks starting right now for this team. At the running back position, you have Ashton Jeanty, Caleb, Cam, Bashul, Jaden, Brashad Smith. I see Tajay Spears there. So a lot of young running backs there. At the wide receiver position, you can start 4: Ricky, Luther, George, Josh, Kyle Williams. The list goes on with Dalton Kincaid. Look, this is clearly a full rebuild, a way where a team that we really can't compete with, right? Like you just got to continue to build here for the next couple of years.
There's no way you
when we look at a team like this.
I mean, let's just be honest. Yeah. Like your starting lineup, you have no quarterback. Oh, by the way, you can drop Derek Carr if that frees you. You can drop Derek Carr, so you don't have a quarterback that you can start. Look, you can look at that two ways. The bright side is you're going to score like no points and you're not going to win any games, which means your picks in the future are going to be very valuable. That's great. And the other way you can look at it is, well, your team's dog shit, right? So at running back, it's a great group there, though. I mean, to grab Jeanty, Johnson, Scadaboo, Toot, and Blue all in the draft, and then also get a Brashard Smith, who I really like. Coming away with Luther Burden as well in the draft, Kyle Williams, Pat Bryant. Looks like Savion Williams was a pickup for you as well. Mason Taylor, Fannin. Nice little pickups there in the draft. Obviously, you know, you don't have a team that we want to go out and compete with, but you're doing a great job of just adding as many pieces as you can into this roster. Do you want to take us through untouchables and all that?
Yeah, untouchables. Look, obviously Ashton Jeanty, but for the sake of this, let's put your 26 and 27. We know we're not going to move Ashton Jeanty because you kind of already mentioned that you weren't going to sell him on the low. So let's just keep him. But we're going to keep your 26 and 27 first. Holds. Ricky Pearsall. I would even say Dalton Kincaid potentially, unless we can sell him for a piece, I think. But I would say for me right now, Dalton Kincaid, Caleb, Ricky Pearsall, and then Luther Burden, I think is a guy that we both would like to hold, especially with that situation. Drops, probably there's a couple. I guess you could drop Derek Carr. We can put that on there.
You can definitely drop
Derek Carr and maybe Chig if you wanted to. Or Tank Dell, Dontavion Wicks, Luke McCaffrey. Let's put those guys there over Chig just because he's getting a new quarterback, but we can definitely still drop him just to make room. So those are the guys that I would be dropping.
Yeah. And then looking at your waiver wire, I think, you know, Thornton is worth a pickup, as well as Phil Maffa, for example. Like those were the two names for me that kind of stood out. And, you know, again, just quickly reviewing your draft, I don't know how it could have gone better. You grab 4 running backs that I think could transform your roster. 2 dart throws that I really like. A perfect fit for a rebuilder is Luther Burden. That's the perfect fit for your team. And obviously you grab some guys that we like at wide receiver and tight end. I would give this an A overall. A flat. I'm not going to say A plus, but A flat. I think you did the best with what you have. And then again, I think Phil Maffa and Thornton are pretty decent pickups that you can consider on the waiver wire. Okay, so overall team grade. Transparency is key here. Look, this team is really bad. So this feels like D- to me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I put there. Okay. Full rebuild, D-, and I think draft capital, since you have all your first there, we could just put it at a B.
Well, no, he's got multiple firsts in 26.
Oh, does he?
He's done a good job. He has multiple seconds.
Never mind.
So I would put this at an A-, his draft capital.
Okay, say less.
that is the that is the
All that in there.
the benefit, I guess, that we're trying to get to. What's up, Macy? He's been a member over on YouTube for 36 months. That's actually crazy to think about.
Hey, that's love.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for showing some love there. All right. Do we have any admin, or are we good?
That's all. It's all admin.
All right. Let's talk about the squad here. So
What's happening,
I think
y'all? See you guys in the chat.
I think we can sell Pickens in season, or if we get the right price, we can look at moving him. Derek Carr is not worth anything. Your running backs, none of them seem like obvious sells. We can talk about what it would take to move Genty, if you wanted to. Outside of that, I don't.
It's really no one that you can sell.
I'm gonna sell, right? I mean,
yeah. Gosh, I don't think we've ever had a team that didn't have a quarterback before.
No, I mean, look, full transparency. This is definitely the worst quarterback room we've ever seen.
Yeah. No question.
Trade. And like Badaki said, Pathway is completely full rebuild. You're not even a 1-year punt. You're pretty far off with a team like this. All right, let's sort by wide receiver strength, and let's see if there is any team that could use a George Pickens.
Oh my gosh, I just kind of realized there's a big discrepancy here of this Thanos team.
Yeah, it looks like one guy knew what he was doing, everyone else did not know what they were doing, and
he has 2 firsts as well next year.
Yeah, he's kind of got you guys by the balls a little bit. All right, let's sort by wide receivers. The Thought Patrol could use a receiver, and they have Jackson Dart. Now, they could also use a quarterback, so I don't think this is going to be possible, but in some leagues, I think you can trade Pickens for Dart straight up. In your scenario, I'm actually not opposed to sending Pickens and something to go get Dart with just how barren your team is. We can take a shot. Like, I wouldn't mind sending Pickens. I want to say like Pickens and Spears, or Pickens and Pat Bryant, maybe. I like Pat Bryant, but I think it's worth in a Superflex league kind of taking that shot on Jackson Dart. I don't know if I would do Downs. Like, maybe if you could get Dart in a third or something, maybe. Dart, and so instead of Downs, you add Alec Ayomanor or something, right?
Sure.
As like a speculative throw in there.
I'm okay with that.
But I do think it's worth exploring that kind of idea. Triple K needs some receivers, it looks like. I don't really see a deal happening with you two.
Yeah, that's tough.
Joe Pater Nosed has Jack Besh. I'd love to flip this into Besh and Woody Marks. Be comfortable with that personally. If you can't get Woody Marks on top, what about like a Torrey Horton or Dylan Gabriel maybe?
Yeah, that's good. Dylan Gabriel. Get one of these high. Like, I would even be interested in trying to get the names like the Jalen Milroe whenever that time comes, once we find that team.
I would do like a swap for Higgins as well if you can. This guy's got, what would you just do? I mean, just throw Quinn Ewers in there for fun. I don't know. I think you can do a straight swap with that one, but
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, trying to get an Igbuka would be great as well.
Oh gosh, the guy that got Jalen Milroe is a Seahawks fan.
It would have to be. It would have to be something like. I think you probably have to go Pickens and Downs to get Igbuka.
I'm okay with that.
But maybe you get Igbuka in a third.
I would even do like. Yeah, I would even do like Pickens in like one of those seconds, like a late second. I think one of those seconds are. Oh no, it's a third. He has the Thanos' team's third, so never mind.
Yeah.
But he has Lamar's millions. Where's he at on the team?
Yeah, I think those are your main options. You're a little bit limited. I mean, also, I wouldn't sell George Pickens for a single second at this point. But if you can get multiple seconds in the future, I'm okay to do that. Otherwise, I'd rather just hold him and see what he does in this high-powered offense. It's high powered compared to what he's been on, that's for sure. And then with Genty, you just need to find a team that is ready to pay up. Now, can I be really transparent with FireFist Pharaoh? The reason nobody can trade for Genty is because only one team has the assets to do it. So it's like your league is so imbalanced. It's insane. I mean, Jamison Williams is this guy's wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bryce Young is that quarterback 5?
Yeah, QB 5. I mean,
that's why you're not going to be able to trade away Ashton Genty because no one has any assets.
He's definitely taking advantage of some people here. He's done something.
People are saying I'm selling Pickens low. Really? That's shocking to hear that.
Yeah,
you guys are telling me that you can trade. You think you can trade George Pickens for like the 203? Do people think that they can do that? I would be shocked if that's possible.
I just don't see the pathway specific. Okay, look, the upside is higher now, but he's not going to be the T. Higgins of the world.
I disagree with that. I do think he can
opinion.
be T. Higgins. I absolutely think he can be T. Higgins. I disagree.
For me,
100%,
I don't think that.
But I just don't think the market is higher than this right now.
No, the market's not. The market, he has him as wide receiver 35. Like we looked this up yesterday to see if his value was risen or not. Specifically on Keep Trade Cut, he's wide receiver 33 right now. I mean, I think we
CB
went
says
through a list
Pickens
of
for
names.
Jaden Higgins is diabolical. Are you guys real? Are you guys serious right now? What do you guys think George Pickens is worth? You guys think you can get a first for George Pickens in your leagues? That sounds insane.
On Keep Trade Cut, George Pickens wide receiver 33, Higgins 39. Basically, they're in the same tier. Right now, that means
if you're telling me that Jaden Higgins is a crazy ambitious trade, then you guys are telling me that he's worth a first round pick. I cannot think of a single league where you can get a first round pick for George Pickens. Okay, maybe you can get Burden. Can you get Luther Burden? I don't know. I don't think anyone in our leagues would ever accept that. But
I don't think so either. I mean, Luther Burden right now, wide receiver 32, George Pickens 33, specifically on Keep Trade Cut. We use this because there's a bigger pool of community senses, right? Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver 34. I think we would both want. You correct me if I'm wrong. I think we would both want Brandon Ayuk.
Yes.
What about Ricky Pearsall? Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver 35. George Pickens 33.
He already has Burden, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. So.
Yeah, I just think.
Look,
that's
all right.
Crazy.
I will tweak these. I think you guys are personally. I think you guys in the comment section are crazy. I do not think that these deals that you guys are suggesting are going down. Honestly, I just don't believe it. But maybe we don't have to give up downs then. Maybe you can get Jack Besh and a second, and then instead you send George Pickens in a third. I think you guys are out of your minds, but I will.
Well, someone said in their league they got 27 first and Jake Ferguson for George Pickens. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh,
like if you can do that in your league,
that sounds so
that's
serious.
Yeah, that's highway robbery for sure.
Well, if you can get apparently any first in any year, if that's possible, go for it. Now, Badaki and I disagree. I think Pickens' upside is massive in Dallas, but I think I know for certain you would not get a first round pick for him in any of the leagues that you and I are in. But anyway, let's move on. Maybe you can shoot higher for Pickens. Figure out your leagues.
Pickens has aura.
Let's go to the Genty side of this. And I love that everyone's got a different opinion in the chat. That's all very helpful, and you know it's all very useful. But I think you guys are crazy. The guy who is the worst team doesn't have his first round pick. The Thought Patrol does have his first round pick. Could you get Amarion and 2 firsts if you end up making this like a Pickens? So what about Genty and George Pickens for Amarion Hampton plus 2 future firsts? What do we think about that?
Genty and George Pickens for Amarion 2 future firsts. Yeah, I mean if it's going to market to what they're saying, you can get 26 and 27, get Amarion. Yeah, why not?
Scribbles, you're missing my point though, my friend. I'm agreeing with you that George Pickens has high upside. I'm disagreeing with you that the prices you guys are suggesting are possible. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Brandon says I tried to get a late first for Pickens and 20 times and no one would budge. Anyway, look, I love that we all have different opinions. It's all welcome on this channel. Now, maybe someone thinks you can get 3 firsts in this deal with Hampton and the 2 firsts. I don't think that's possible, but I think that's a pretty fair move. Even if they add a Ginty and a Pickens, I think this team is going to be towards the bottom of the league. Maybe if you want to push the envelope, you can end up like asking for a Keon Coleman or something, and you would send back a. Let's see, with your team, you would send back a Wandale, Tajay, something like that, right? But
yeah,
again, like I'm starting to suggest trades that I just don't think are possible in any league, but I'm trying to be flexible, but I'm also trying to be realistic.
I mean, obviously, Jay, you're here with us. You know your league the best, right? I mean, if you know that specifically, going back to the George Pickens, if you know somebody out there that is valuing George Pickens as, oh, this guy is going to break out to the next level, I can get a first, I think it would be silly not to take that. I think both Zach and I like George Pickens. I think we both see different outcomes for him, but so you just have to kind of use your own discrepancy when it comes down to this. We can only give what we do.
Sorry, Josh just commented, maybe in those leagues, Pickens gets bonus points for crash out fights. You know how there's there's leagues out there where if your quarterback gets a tackle, you get 100 points and you basically win your matchup. So
I didn't know that.
So basically, the only way that ever happens is if the quarterback throws an interception, and then the quarterback is the one that tackles whoever intercepted the ball, right? And it happens like once a year. But maybe there could be anyway. All right, whatever. I honestly love that we all have different opinions. That's great. How about like a Judkins Egbuka first?
Yeah.
That kind of range, and like if you need to throw a Josh Downs in there to make a deal like that happen, I think we would do that. But kind of like the baseline of what we're trying to get in return. And making sure that the players kind of fit our timeline, like a Bucky Travis Hunter maybe. What about Bucky Travis Hunter and a first, but we find a way to give something
like
back? Like, would you give? I mean, I was gonna say Pickens, but people might say we're underselling Pickens here. Josh Downs maybe. I don't know. See how far you can push the envelope,
Yeah, I agree.
But I think those are the main ideas we would have. Like you could also try the problem with the Henderson owners, they don't really have anything in the middle. It'd have to be like Henderson and 2 firsts. But their team is pretty good. And then yeah, I mean the only way you trade with this team, the team at the top, is if you just hold them ransom. You make them overpay an insane amount. So they give you Breece Hall, JSN, Garrett Wilson, and a first or something. Otherwise, you don't trade with a team like this. You have to. They have to pay a tax that nobody else in your league does, and you should make that very public in your league. If anyone trades with this guy needs to pay a tax because we're all fucked.
He knows that like he has you guys, so like he's just trying to hold the high tier players. So you're gonna try and at least take one of those guys away from him. But hey, Jay, please let us know if you have any last minute questions or anything that you want us to explore. But we appreciate you, man. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours on the Flock Fantasy Message System, customized with everything that we drew up for you here today, man. Thank you so much for the support.
Yeah, appreciate you big time, guys. And if you don't know, we are giving away a free trade question voucher for the Flock site. So, on a future stream, even tomorrow's stream, maybe you can come and, ask a trade question through the Flock site like these other people are with the team reviews. All you have to do is type in land into the YouTube chat, LAND, and like the stream. That's as simple as it gets. No worries, Tesh. He says, I'm a UK NFL fan. We got a lot of people who are from, different parts of the world, which is awesome to see the NFL growing,
Yeah.
Appreciate you, Jay. I also saw you submitted another team playbook, didn't you, Jay? So we'll get to that later on.
Do the second one, yeah, 100%.
But we're going to move on to the next one, but you guys can get your team playbook which is a customized game plan for your offseason. We give this out to everybody who gets a live team playbook. You can get that by becoming a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member. There's a voucher in your account that you'll be able to use after that. And just make sure you get it with Zach and Badaki, and make sure you slide that tier up. So for our annual members, it will only be $7 when you slide that tier up to get it on the live stream. And the only reason we ask that is because the demand is so high right now. But a lot of people prefer offline because they don't want their league to see the review anyway. So if that's you can just get the offline voucher and be good with that. So Bobby is next. He did upgrade. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next on that and clear that out for him. So let's get to Bobby. Annie says, hey guys, can you move Annie towards the bottom? Might be stuck in traffic during my review. Yeah, we can take a mental note there, Annie, and we can do yours a little bit later. So yeah, appreciate you big time. And you can check out the link in the pinned comment, guys, if you want to get your team on the stream. All right. The great George Pickens debate of 2025.
The great George Pickens.
I honestly, I agree with Scribbles. I think his upside is through the roof. I really do. Like a top 15 finish would not surprise me for George Pickens this year. Genuinely. That would not be shocking to me at all whatsoever. But I just don't think if you're trying to sell him right now, you'll get anywhere near that value. So, yeah.
Okay. We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Bobby.
Right. Bobby.
Hey, Bobby. Shout out to Bobby.
I'm Bobby Mom.
Please. I'm Bobby. Oh, gosh. I don't think we can say that here.
Oh, absolutely.
Or at least continue that second part of that. Bobby, we appreciate you. Let us know if you're here with us. This is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 10, which is our classic middle ground here. And let's read this context here. And there's none. Okay, so we'll go straight to your team. And let's look at your team name.
Who's second? Bobby Lavis.
Yeah, 2-12. Okay, let's have a look at this team here. Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff, and really no one else to speak of. At the running back position, James Conner, Marshawn Lloyd, and really the list goes on. RIP Jonathan Brooks, thank you for your service. You can start up to 5 wide receivers. You're starting 5. Wilson, Olave, Reed, and it falls off there. So you really only have 3 wide receivers you can start, and honestly, questionable with Jaden Reed with Brock Bowers. But you do have the 101, the 201, the 311, the 411 there, and your own 26 first. Going straight into some admin stuff here. Untouchables. Let's just put Jaden Daniels for sure as an untouchable, and Brock Bowers, especially in a 0.5 tight end premium. Those are some guys that we would want to keep on our team. Some holds we would like. For me, I am seeing, gosh, there's really not many holds actually. Maybe Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Marshawn Lloyd, I guess you can hold on to a name like Chris Olave to kind of see what's going to happen with that near quarterback. And then a bunch of drops. Van Jefferson. Actually, don't drop Van Jefferson.
You have so many drops. Like I'll just highlight all of them and you can choose. But I would comfortably move on from any of these names. I would not worry whatsoever of dropping any of the highlighted names. Okay. Very, very comfortably dropping those guys. And I assume your waiver wire is completely useless with a league like this. Yeah. Again, just feedback to anyone who has a league like this where the rosters are just so big. It just makes the waiver wire completely pointless. And I suggest making things a little more difficult, you know. So what's strange is I feel like this must have been a startup that just finished. Can you tell me if your how long ago was your startup, Bobby? I would be shocked if your startup wasn't recent because your league is so close in value. And
you said first year last year. I was going to say, I don't think surely wouldn't have been a startup because he got Jaden Daniels and Brock Bowers. There's no way they're going sometimes in the first round.
No, that's fair. But
you know
who the hell else is going in the first round on this team? Like this team is really in a weird place because it's like the value is, I don't know. This is one of the weirder second overall ranked teams I've seen because obviously Daniels and Brock Bowers are pushing this team up my rankings. But I wouldn't say this is the second best team in this league. I think there are definitely other teams that are better than your team. So that might be a slight misrepresentation. But obviously, thinking about the starting lineup, you'd be going Daniels, Goff, then let's say Genty, Connor, Wilson, Olave, Bowers makes 7. Then you still have to start 3 names. I have no idea where those 3 names come from. We'll throw Jaden Reed in there. But I guess we're hoping that the 201, can fix one of those flex spots, but you're still 1 spot short. No matter how this goes, you're probably going to have to start Marshawn Lloyd or Jordan Whittington So I still think this roster is look, it can definitely make the playoffs just because of the strength of like a Daniels, Goff, Genty, Bowers, but it's one of the weaker wide receiver rooms and running back rooms we've seen in a hot minute.
Yeah, and also I was just going through teams. It looks like everyone has basically almost all their individual picks.
Okay.
I was just trying to find some people that hey, maybe we can tear down from that 101. Can we get some depth here?
I almost feel like this team, I'd be aggressively trying to tear down from the 101, but I also wouldn't force it. He says, I did get an offer for the 105, 110, and a 26 first for my 101 and the 201. If that's just the 101, we can start a conversation. If they want the 201 on top, then that's a non-starter.
Yeah, I think
it's not even
close. That was my biggest thing. Is that 201. I feel like you kind of have to keep that to give you that leverage. I mean, the guy's getting Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely a starting point for sure.
Okay, so do we need to do any more admin?
Yeah, pathways and everything.
This feels like a 1-year punt.
Yes, exactly. 1-year punt for me. Overall team grade.
And I'll just say quickly, I think you might be able to be sleeper if things go right. Because you're not going to miss the playoffs with Daniels, Goff, Bowers, and a tight end premium, Genty,
I think
Wilson,
it just falls
Olave,
short.
Connor.
It's just falls short significantly. So let's just say we don't move and you don't make any trades. He has Ashton Genty at the 201. Let's just say that. I mean, we haven't even seen Caleb or RJ, but let's just say the thing is that the 201 is in our last drafts have always been Tyler Warren, Matthew Golden. How about that? You get Ashton Genty and Matthew Golden here. You're still short. You're still short 1 flex.
I know.
And your RB2 with James Conner is not strong. The thing is,
there's enough of a foundation here where I think they could make the playoffs. And all I'll say is I'm going to put sleeper, but I do think I would lean towards thinking about the future with a team like this. So that means I can entertain offers of Goff. Really that's Connor. If offers come in for these guys, I'm not going to say no, but I'm also not in the point where it's this team has no chance to ever compete. So that's kind of where I am. And then what else admin do we need to do?
Team grade and draft capital grade.
Okay, overall team grade. I don't know. Honestly, it feels more C+ than B-, but
I'm there with you. I feel like this is a C+. I think actually let's put B- because including the draft capital. I think even if he doesn't make a move, I think it could be that B- territory, kind of what you were just talking about, having some good bones, but not necessarily having the strong foundation to take you all the way.
Yeah.
And then draft capital would probably just be a B flat, B+ maybe.
All right, so let's go to the chalkboard then.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you stick and pick, Genty at the 101 is great. No way you can undersell the 201 like someone just suggested, because you're going if you think about this logistically, you're going to get a first-round talent. It will be one of the following names: RJ Harvey, Caleb Johnson, Igbuka, Loveland Warren, Golden Dart, and you're in a tight end premium league. So there's a good chance that Loveland and Warren push other names down the board as well, because they're very worthy prospects. So I think that person is way underselling the 101, but we can form a potential counter. And we'll kind of see what that can look like. You know what I mean? So the first deal he mentioned is a 105 plus the 110 plus a 26 first. I wasn't sure if I would agree to that without giving up the 101. So now I need to really look at that team. I'd say that's the first thing we should do is look at the team that has a 105. Okay. So a team like this, like, I'd be curious if we could get. Well, look, I guess the question we have to ask is if this team adds Ashton Genty, do we really want their first round pick?
I'm sorry, which one was the team again? I was trying to find
Team 3, Jay Blair,
Team
11. If they're going to roll out a roster this year of Jackson Fields, Genty Gibbs, I guess it would be DJ Judy, Hawkinson, Pickens, Kamara, Najee. I guess, like, yes, it could fall apart.
I mean, look, it definitely could fall apart. I think, like, the foundation is not strong, especially, in my opinion, with, as much as I like Jerry, I think he's a good flex, but, like, it's not a strong wide receiver, too. Pickens is not a strong, in my opinion, not a strong wide receiver, too.
I'm doing a video for our, I'm prepping a video right now for our redraft channel. It'll be the first video of the year. I got to tell you, I'm so far in on George Pickens, or Jerry Jeudy this year.
Jerry Jeudy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy either way. Like, when I say I'm happy either way, but, like,
just so you guys
that's exciting to hear.
Go
but,
subscribe to our redraft
I don't think
channel,
he's
the
like
first video is going to come out next week on the redraft channel. So go subscribe over there to show some love, and also the content we'll release there is relevant for Dynasty as well. But sorry, continue.
I just think like when I look at this team, I think it can fall apart, and I'm banking on the Jerry's not to be consistent, George Pickens not to be consistent.
Right.
The running back would be really strong, which would then push this team to then start Alvin Kamara in the flex or Chuba Hubbard in the flex.
Yeah.
With Ashton Genty, so I can definitely see where you're coming from there.
I feel like we're close here. I'd like to add. First off, I would prefer it to be the 27 first, but if it has to be 26, that's okay. And if we're gonna get close to a deal here, can they add, for example, Chuba Hubbard? And bear with me for a second, because we'll have to add something back, because now this deal gets a little imbalanced. But we can throw them like Jaden Reed, or it's tough because you don't have many like middle ground players. What about like throw them the 311 or something, or maybe it is Jaden Reed.
I mean, I feel like it could be James Conner. Like,
okay, yeah, no, that actually makes sense.
That's probably the best middle player, because if you think about it, 105 is Trey or Quinshawn. 110 you can get Caleb or RJ. You still have Chuba Hubbard. If anything, Reed's probably want, and then you still have the 201 there, so you can get another wide receiver like a Golden, or you can get another tight end. This is a 0.5 tight end premium, so maybe that's Warren or Loveland. We've seen fall to that 201 spot. Maybe not in 0.5 tight end premium. Our leagues aren't premiums, but
yeah. So one of those deals I think could get us there with those two structures. The other option is just add a second. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not opposed to that kind of offer. What we need to do is we basically need to look at every option from the 102. So the 102, you had the 5 there, to the 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, 7, 6, 4, 3. So let's look at those teams and see what options there are from the top to the bottom.
Yeah, team 1 is 106.
So this would be like 106 JSN?
Yeah, exactly. 106 JSN, that helps.
And then you can probably grab Henderson or Hunter to build around. That would put you more into a rebuild. I don't know that you can net more than that. Maybe we can find a way to add Ricky Pearsall. Like or what about, like, maybe you can get the 206 on top. I'm gonna tell you how far you can maybe push it depending on your league. So the 206, or maybe even like a Ricky Pearsall and a Jane Reed swap or something simple like that, you know. Alternatively, I think we're okay. Even if you added like the 311 to get the 206, you know. But then ultimately, I think we would settle for the other one, but push it as far as you can. Yeah, okay, let's keep going. Hollinsworth has the 107 and Lab McConkey. I mean, that would be enough for me, that package. Lad in the 107.
Yeah, but I would be okay with that. It's pretty significant. We both like Vlad.
And then again, like maybe you can get the 207 involved, right? Like you'll know for certain. Can you add the 207 if you send the 311? How far can you stretch it? That's what she said. All right, let's keep looking.
That's what she said. Oh boy, 104. I see. I feel like 108 is too far down. I think we spoke about 104.
Issue is the guy with the 104 doesn't have much in the middle to
have
make this
anything.
Make sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably not gonna work there unless it's like the 104. No.
It has to be like 104 in the future.
Yeah, I don't like
first. It. Yeah. 102. I feel like very similar boat.
Yeah. We could do 102, 202, and
I feel like the next
swap.
best name.
So hold on, 102, 202, and a future first. But we're gonna give you the 101, James Conner, and a future second or something.
Yep.
And maybe that's not maximizing. Maybe you can do that without the future second.
I'm happy to even put Jaden Reed into that conversation.
Sure.
Like swapping James Conner with Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
If it needs to get the deal done there, Bobby.
I'm Bobby Mom.
And I think that's
the 103. I don't really want to do. I do like. What about like 103 Adunze? 203.
103, 203. Yeah. Like I think that's okay.
But of course, like we've said before, if you don't get the value you want for Ashton Genty, there's nothing wrong with just sticking and holding. I know it's tough in a clear rebuild, but the worst thing you can do. Oh, sorry, you're not in a clear rebuild. I know it's just tough in general, like when you're on the board and no one's giving you the value you want for Genty. It's tough to hold if you want to tear off of him. But if you don't hold and wait for the value that you want, then you're going to put your team in a worse position than it already was. So,
yeah, Bobby, man, appreciate you. Let us know if you have any last minute questions. I know you were here in the chat with us.
I'll just quickly say, like,
yours.
If you start 2-6 or something, Jared Goff, Connor, are the main guys that you're going to be looking to sell off there.
Yeah, but obviously this is your time to shine. Please let us know if you have any last minute questions. You should be receiving your customized playbook with everything that we drew up here today in the Flock Fantasy Message System within the next 24 to 48 hours here. But thank you so much for the support. And I think kind of like we always say, don't force anything. Don't force that and to trying to sell that 101 if you're not going to get the package that you want, right? So keep that in mind there, Bobby, but appreciate you.
Yes. All right. So if your name is MDK Dacey, then we sent you a message on how you can get yours live. I'll wait to hear from you. Otherwise, yours will be offline. Annie, we're going to wait on Annie because she's in traffic. And then we're going to go BK next here.
Okay. What's happening, everyone? I see a couple people that just came in. WG. Mops there.
What's up, people?
Fantasy Football Garage. What's happening, everyone? How we doing? Joshua came in. BK Lounge 69. Oh boy, be careful. Getting dirty over there, ain't it? But hey, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support here.
And by the way, he also said on the back end, I'm watching live but can't figure out how to type in the YouTube chat. Also, if you want to review a trade I made and roast me, feel free. We'll look at that in a second, but go ahead.
No, all good, man. All good. Okay, 2 quarterback, 12 team, start 10, which is again
Potatoes?
another no, middle ground.
Sorry. Yep.
Middle ground, meaning he can start up to 3 flexes in this league here. But let's have a look at this team because it looks like there's no context here. Oh no, there is. It says new to Dynasty and auction drafted poorly. I have an offer for Zay Flowers for the 27th first, probably late. I like Omarion at the 102, but does it make sense for me to take a running back while I am rebuilding? And your team name is Omarion Hampton in Suites. You love to see it. You're currently ranked 9th out of 12. And obviously, you said you were here, and obviously you can't talk, but
Shout out to Brian
maybe.
at the bottom there. Brian's worst nightmare. This guy's name must be Brian. This might be his worst nightmare. This team.
All right, let's have a look at this team here. JJ McCarthy, Sam Darnold, and no other quarterbacks to speak of. Okay, not in love with that quarterback room personally.
Yeah.
I like JJ building as a foundational guy. No running backs to speak of. You can start up to 5 wide receivers. Here's your starting 5: Brian Thomas, Martin Harrison, Zay Flowers, Ricky Pearsall, and then it falls off there with Roman Wilson, DeAndre Hopkins. But you have Sam Laporta. You have the 102, the 201, the 210, 211. So you definitely have some picks in this draft here, and you have 2 first-round picks in 2026, which is great. Mr. Dino and his Nuggets, where is he ranked currently? Middle of the pack type of team. Okay. Okay. Going straight into some admin stuff.
Well, I'll just say first off, because he wanted to talk about one of the trades that he made just quickly.
Sure.
This is the trade that he was talking about behind the scenes that he said roast him for it if we wanted to. But he traded Ginty and Bijan for the 102, Brian Thomas, JJ McCarthy, and a third. So when I look at a trade like this, I would say Bijan and Brian probably equal in value. The question is, would you trade away Ginty for the 102 JJ McCarthy in a third? And look, like, full transparency, I don't think that's crazy.
I don't think that's crazy either.
I don't think that's
Personally.
an insane trade. Like, to move the 101 to get the 102 and JJ McCarthy. I'm convinced if JJ McCarthy was in this class, he probably is the 102 over Cam Ward. So, as far as quarterbacks, I don't think it's a crazy trade. I really don't.
I don't think it's a crazy trade either. The way I saw it was more. Oh no, you're right. Yeah, that's good. I don't mind that trade there, Bobby. Hopefully that's okay.
Well, this is BK Lounge. Bobby's.
I'm sorry,
we're
BK.
moved on from Bobby.
Sorry, not Bobby.
Yeah,
BK.
I don't think it's a terrible trade, honestly. But anyway,
No, I really don't think so.
So, yes, untouchables. Go ahead.
Untouchables right now. I just have Brian Thomas. It's the only one that I can see that's more of an untouchable. Holds Ricky Pearsall, Martin Harrison, JJ McCarthy. As holds right now, unless there's another one that you can think of. A bunch of drops: Rondell, Bud Mead, Trey Palmer, Anaya Smith, Damian Pierce. You can drop Tyson Badgett. All those guys you can drop there.
Yeah. All right.
When it comes down to the pathway, what are you thinking?
I think this is a full rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not a serious contender, and we have a good amount of draft capital, 2 firsts next year, which is nice. We're definitely full rebuilding. Overall team grade, I mean, honesty is important here. This is probably, it's either D plus or C minus.
I think it's C minus personally.
Okay. Maybe with the draft capital, because then if I come over to grade your draft capital, it's more of an A minus, so it's a good amount of draft capital there. Yeah, we're very clearly rebuilding. Very clearly rebuilding.
Yeah, that's all admin there.
So, all admin. Let's go to the chalkboard then. I have no problem with going Omarion Hampton here at the 102. You know, one of the questions was, Should I not take a running back because I'm rebuilding? Imagine if you asked that question a couple years ago when you could have taken Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs, right? I mean, those guys have been worth 3 first-round picks since that day. Maybe today you have to send 4 first-round picks for them. So, obviously, Omarion isn't the same level of prospect as those guys, but he still went in the first round. I have no problem keeping Omarion Hampton, if you can't tear down. I think Badaki and I are probably going to lead to exploring a tear down because your team is so barren of talent. But I have no problem if you're not going to be able to tear down to go ahead and grab Omarion Hampton there. I wouldn't avoid it because he's a running back, basically, is what I'm saying.
I'm there with you.
And then when we look at the 201, this is where I would say, at the 201 for me, this is different with RJ Harvey, just simply because he will be 25 next year. And it's not that you can't draft him because of his age, but if you are rebuilding, if Harvey is available and Igbuka is available and some of these tight ends, is there a premium and a 0.5 premium, even though you already have Laporta? I probably might lean that direction in that scenario, right? But you could still maybe talk me into potentially considering it with Harvey there. And then with these late seconds, obviously it's hard to say exactly who's going to be available the further we go down the board. But, names like Tootin, if he's there, is a no-brainer, or the Jalen Knowles, Kyle Williams, these tight ends and a tight end premium like the Taylors, Jaden Blue, these are all great options. I'm just going to say the 301 to the 407 to kind of make this graphic a little bit easier, right at the bottom there. So yeah, but I think in an ideal world, we trade back from the 102. He did have an offer where he could send Zay Flowers away for a 27 first. I like that. The 27 class looks absolutely stacked. And there's a chance that Arch Manning could actually, you know what I mean? Arch Manning could join that group. So, absolutely, I have no problem sending Zay Flowers away for a 27 first in a rebuild. Maybe, can you get creative? Can you send them for example, can you send them Zay Flowers and then add on, let's say, DeAndre Hopkins? Just hypothetically, I'm just saying how far can you stretch it, right? And can you get a 27 first and a third? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm there.
Can you get a second? So very, very possible.
Yeah, I'm liking all these moves right here for sure.
And yeah, so I think the other thing we need to explore is a 102 trade down. So go from the 103 all the way down to the 4, 5, 6, 7. And really, with your team being in the state that it's in, you should have no issues with whoever falls at the 107, whether that be Judkins, Ward. You could honestly use any number of these players, right? So,
yeah, we can go to the top.
Yeah. So the 103.
Might be.
I'd love to find a way to add Drake May. Do you think if we sent Darnold and Zay? I know this is going to get maybe too creative, but bear with me for a second. 102 and okay, so we're sending the 102. We're sending Sam Darnold and Zay Flowers. And then we'll get Drake May and the 203, maybe. Something like that. Is that what they have, the 203?
Yeah, 103, 203. Yeah. I think if they can do something like that, sure. I think it might be a little bit more difficult to do a trade like that, but I do like this trade for sure.
Yeah. And if that's not possible, then you can be a little more realistic. Honestly, I probably wouldn't do this trade just for the 203. I just would rather control the draft. But if you can make it 203, Man, that's tough. Like, I don't know about you, but like the 203 isn't enough. Like, I'd rather just control the draft and take the second best player. But I'm not sure how to get there and be realistic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you can continue to tier down if you could do like it. Look, it just gets a little bit more.
What maybe a Zay Flowers Garrett Wilson swap?
Sure.
You add Garrett Wilson, and you swap from Zay Flowers, and then it's going to be easier to sell Garrett Wilson than it is Zay Flowers anyway.
Well, I guess in our perspective, there we probably would still rather. Would you rather have the first over Garrett Wilson, the 27 first? Or would you get Garrett Wilson over the 27 first? That's essentially what you're doing.
I think you get more than a first for Garrett Wilson.
Okay, so if you then he should then take this trade over the first.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers. Yeah.
Let's move on to the next team then. 104. The 104 owner has a 110. I think I would probably do the 104 and the 110. I'd be fine with that. That's probably the only thing that makes sense for that team, to be honest. Or you could do like 104 and a future first if you wanted.
Yeah.
Then the 105. Let's see who has the 105. Well, the 107 is here.
107 is there.
But
yeah.
I don't really see anything that makes sense with this team. They're not going to give you McBride either because they're contending. I don't think this team makes sense. Well, I don't know. Would you do the 107 and Rice?
Yeah, well, I'd have to be 107 Rice, but I think we need to kick back something. I just don't know if we can, unless it's like one of those Zay Flower things again. We add a Zay Flowers, or we try and get it done with like the 210, if that's enough, which I doubt.
I'm not obsessed with. I don't really like this that much, to be honest. Let's keep looking. Not ideal.
105.
The 105 there's a 105 and the 106, so we'd be very happy to do that, and then we can even send something to make that work. For example, the 210 and Roman Wilson or something.
Yep.
Or what you could do is you could just send Sam Darnold in this. So yeah, those are some options potentially to tier down. In an ideal world, you do tier down, but of course, if there's not an offer and you can't get it done, then you can't get it done. That's just the end of that. But yeah, definitely in a clear rebuild. I like the foundations that you have, and don't feel bad about the trade that you made. I actually think it was smart given what your team looks like. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, appreciate you, BK. Thank you so much for the support. You should be receiving your playbook here, everything that we drew up and customized here for you within the next 24 to 48 hours in the Flock Fantasy message system. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
love.
Appreciate you big time. All right, let's go ahead and let's move on to another Bobby. I'm Bobby Mom. We got two Bobbies on the. Oh, actually, oh wait, yeah, no, Bobby upgraded. Remember? Yeah, Bobby upgraded.
Yeah, Bobby did upgrade.
I'm Bobby Mom.
Yeah.
Is Annie in the chat? Let us know, Annie.
Yeah, Annie, if you're here, let us know when you're ready. We'll try and keep yours as last as possible, I guess, until you're here with us. But maybe I think you might be next after Bobby here potentially. I just made a chalkboard for him, by the way.
I'm Bobby Mom. All right, Bobby.
All right, Bobby.
Cadre. This must be
Cadre.
ESPN. Based off of.
Why would you say that?
I'm thinking that based off the logos I'm seeing. Maybe it's not. I don't know.
I mean, I see the ESPN logo. Yeah. One quarterback, 10 teams, start 9.
Okay.
Which is our middle ground in one quarterback.
Yep. And he and one other team are just dominating this league, by the way.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see here at all. Well,
you know, I don't see any draft picks. Is Bobby with us?
In any, yeah.
I don't see any draft picks here.
Have they not done their draft order? Draft pick order potentially?
Maybe that's the issue. ESPN might not be sharing that.
He says picking from the 1-6 spot in a rookie draft, missed the playoffs. How do I move forward with this team? So you do have picks. It's just not showcasing here, unfortunately.
I'm just gonna message him. Hey, Bobby. ESPN isn't syncing any of your draft picks. Could you tell us? I'll say 1. Okay, hold on. I gotta refresh. It's not gonna send the message.
You good. I'll as you're doing that and trying to get that, what I can do is kind of go. We're gonna have to wait
on this one.
Okay, sure. So then Andy might be next. I know Andy was in the car.
What draft picks you own in 2?
On the way home.
Who owns every pick in the first 2 rounds?
I'll just write some stuff down so I don't have to do it later. By the way, guys, everyone that's in the Manhattan League, we're going to be doing the draft order here after all of these team playbooks here. So stay tuned. I'll send a message out on the Discord, or not the Discord, but the league chat as well. So if you're here in the Manhattan League, stay tuned. I'm actually really excited for that. I actually can't wait. I just hope I don't have the 112. Actually, I don't mind having the 112.
You'll probably have the 112, bro.
Well,
break it to you.
Before in the past, everyone keeps saying, "Why is your team so bad?" It's because when we drafted 3 years ago, I had literally the 112
it's
in
a soft
every
excuse,
single
though.
league.
Gotta be better. Gotta be better.
I know, and I told myself I have to be better, and now I'm still rebuilding after 2.5 years.
All right. Well, we can't do Bobby's team until we hear from him. So, if Bobby, if you're listening, we need more information. Otherwise, honestly, it's for you. We're waiting for you because we want to give you the best review possible. We might go. Dizzy's offline, so we might go FireFist Pharaoh next. Do we have FireFist Pharaoh back in the YouTube chat? Because I know he submitted 2. Maybe we'll do his.
Yeah,
next.
we can give Andy some time to get home, and then we can do FireFist Pharaoh. Okay, so let me make a chalkboard for him.
Yeah. And let me refresh this board here so we can see the latest. While we're waiting on that, Jay is here. Jay Jackson says, "Yes, I am here." And we have a trade question here from Happen, so I want to reply to that real quick. It's a 12-team Superflex start 10. He's sending away Herbert and Godwin to get Goff, a first and a second. So basically, would you tier down from Herbert for a first and a second, as well as sending away Godwin? I want to see what his team looks like. Not a fan of that 26 first, to be honest with you. He has, yeah, I'm not sure I would do that. This team is young. This team is young. I like the idea of selling Pickens. I don't know. I actually want to hear that. What does the chat think on this one? I'm pretty split, but I like the idea of moving off of Godwin. I just don't think, if you give this guy a better team, like, what is his first round pick even going to be worth?
Yeah, let's see.
Or maybe that's not the right team that it's linking with, but yeah, it says early to mid 26 first.
Look, if I'm looking at this,
okay, we see his team on the right hand side here. This guy will be starting if you give him, oh wait, that's your team. Sorry. No, wait. Yeah, this is his team. Sorry. So if you give him Justin Herbert and Chris Godwin, he's going to be able to start Herbert, Baker, and then Penix as his quarterback 3. He'll have Walker and CMC starting. He will have Lamb, DJ, Jameson at the wide receiver spot. His team isn't that great. Look, I don't think this is enough for me.
I mean, yeah, it's tough. I think it's tough. I think if I still want the younger quarterback in Justin Herbert. I know Jared Goff is all the guy. I think you're putting what 3 to 4 years on him.
My counter would be make that a 27 first, and then try and get one more first, and then like even if you need to send like a third or a second on top to make that happen, then that's fine. But I think right now I'm not loving the return.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you,
especially because I don't really love the 26 class. But all right, FireFist Pharaoh, I'm gonna let you read the context. I just got to go pee real quick.
No worries, no worries. Appreciate you, FireFist. You already been here. You kind of know the deal. This is a 2 quarterback 12 team start 10, which is the middle ground. I'll put that in the chat. No worries happening. So that is the middle ground there. And let's have a read. It says I have the 108 in this draft. Now I need RB help and ideally want to compete this year if realistic. I need trade ideas. Thanks. Appreciate you both. All right. Depth note is your team name. And you're currently ranked 2nd out of 12, which is a huge discrepancy at the bottom of that board there. Team 8 to 12 are pretty much all in the same, looking pretty bad. All right, let's have a look at your team. I know you guys probably can't see that, and that's okay, but try and follow along with me here with this team as I read out the team. Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Bryce Young, Sam Darnold at the quarterback position. I think that's a good quarterback position, especially with the depth. At the running back position, Tyrone Tracy, R.I.P. King, Tony Pollard, Jalen Waddle, Rico Daddle. Not the strongest RB room. And Farrell, since you guys haven't set your rookie order, can you tell me those picks that you have in your league right now? Because I see you have a 25 first, a 25 second, a 25 third. Just tell us the pick. I'm assuming you just said you had the 108 in the draft, so I'm assuming that's all the way down. At the wide receiver position, you have, and you can start up to 5 wide receivers in the middle ground, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, and it really just falls off with Jalen Coker there with Kate Alton. So not the strongest depth at the wide receiver position and tight end position there. But you said you're wanting to compete and try and make trades if realistic. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. I don't think it's realistic that you'll be able to compete with the depth that you have.
So basically, we're adding the 108 to this team. Is that right?
Yes, I'm assuming.
Yeah. So your starting lineup would be Daniels, McCarthy. Let's say you force like a Harvey or a Johnson there, and then maybe you have an RB2 and Tracy or Pollard. Then Jefferson, Lamb, no starting tight end really, and then you still need to flex 3 names. I kind of agree with Badaki. I don't really know how you compete with this team. In fact, I might be looking more at like a double tear down from Lamb and Jefferson with a team like this and focus on a 1-year punt.
Yeah.
I think we can maybe force it, but there's no guarantee. Even at the 108, I love Harvey, I love Johnson. There's no guarantee that they're going to hit, right? So even if you draft them, you might not have a starting running back you really like. You know what I mean? So yeah, I kind of lean more towards a 1-year punt with this team. And Jay, if you're not open to that, let us know, because that's okay. We can, like, if you want to contend, we can push this towards a contend, and then maybe we use his 26 first and add like an Adams maybe at the 208 or something. So let us know. Like, we can definitely take the review that way, but I kind of
as we're waiting here, I'll kind of do some admin. Obviously, untouchables, if we do tend to try and want to tear down. But here are some guys we would deem untouchable: Justin Jefferson, Jaden Daniels, and CeeDee Lamb. Holds, I have JJ McCarthy and Jalen Coker. I guess you could throw Ben Sinnott in there if you really wanted to. But what I'll do is put 4 drops, and there's a lot of names for all the way from Xavier Gibson all the way up to Andre Yeshivas. You can drop at the wide receiver position, Cordell Patterson, all the way up to Kamani Vidal. You can drop. You can drop DTR. You can drop Malik Willis. A bunch of guys that you can drop on this team. But yeah, let us know which way you go. He said, let's push to contend. Okay, so you have the 108, the 208, and the 307.
We will push to contend, but just so you know, if it was us, we would not be contending with this team. But let's push to contend. Let's see what we can do, and maybe we can tear down from a Jefferson and kind of go that route. Which means we'll probably have to use that 26 first as well to kind of get the team in that spot. But
you have quarterbacks that maybe you can potentially sell. You have Bryce Young, Sam Darnold.
The only one you're not going to sell Daniels, so maybe you sell Darnold or Young. Maybe, I don't know. But let's. So is that all admin? Overall team grade?
Yeah, overall team grade and pathway.
I kind of lean like a.
I was leaning like a C plus, but you can do B minus.
Yeah,
draft capital. I would just say.
Well,
B
he wants us to.
Well,
we can briefly explore both options. So let's just call this an in or out. Basically, that means you're going into the season planning to contend, but if you don't, what will you do? And we'll kind of explore that with you.
Okay, so in or out, 100%. Okay, well let's do this.
All right, the 108. I think now that we are planning to contend, you probably want to hold, because if you're wanting to contend this year, you actually are going to need a Harvey or Johnson. I prefer Harvey, but just full transparency, probably actually going to need one of those players now that we're going in that direction. And then
yeah, that RB2 is not guaranteed either in the start.
At the 208, I think probably Jaden Blue's a little early, but in an ideal world, Scatterboo or Tootin, if not, like, Kyle Williams is there. Is it a tight end premium?
It's not. It's half PPR as well.
Okay. Well, Mason Taylor, still an option, I guess. Elijah Arroyo. But beyond that, we don't really know for sure. It's dart throws in the 3rd round. Can you trade that for a vet? Can you trade the 108 for a vet? Can you tear down? So we'll explore both of those options. So if we were to trade the 108 for a vet, right now that's like Breece Hall range. That is Jonathan Taylor range. And those would be great options and great fits for you. I would say if you're going to trade that pick, it needs to be a running back. So those are really the names that stand out to me. Let me see if I'm missing anyone. Yeah, Josh Jacobs. I feel like he's cheaper than this. I mean, you can make a case for Chase Brown as well. But I'd rather go this route with these two guys and not take on too much risk. And then I think the 208, we'd be looking to grab a Devontae Adams. Yeah, a Mike Evans maybe.
Mike Evans, I guess the names were at the time. Chris Godwin if you wanted to. Cortland Sutton.
I wouldn't do Sutton, but
yeah.
I agree with the other two. That's kind of that range. I mean, is there another receiver that we're missing? Well, Judy, if Judy's that cheap. Pickens, if Pickens is that cheap. I'd say Judy, Pickens, Tyreek. Yeah. I don't think that's crazy for Judy either.
Nah, 208.
Yeah. If you can get any of those vets.
It just depends. Yeah. I sold a lot of Jerry Judy from like the 203. I think I sold them for a 203 and then one for the 205. But like, it's different.
Yeah. So we'll do the that's the route where you go in. The route where you go out, we'll show you what that looks like. Now the issue is, Jay, maybe you can tell us. We have no idea who owns any of your picks because you guys haven't set your draft order, right? So we can't have that information. So what we'll need from you is we need to know who owns the 109, the 110, the 111, the 112, and the 201. And then we can kind of explore options with them. All right, Annie, good to hear. Annie's home, so we can do that that playbook after this one.
Awesome.
And then the other thing that we can explore here is moving. Like, let's be honest, Darnold is not going to net you a return at quarterback, but I think Bryce Young could. So this is the in route still. So if you move Bryce Young, tough part is you got to find someone who's in. Not everybody is in. You know, let's sort by quarterback strength though. So this guy has Justin Fields as his quarterback 1. Could you get Devonta Smith? You think so? Maybe?
I think so. 100%.
Maybe Chris Olave plus. And it's not a big plus, but could you get Olave and Pickens? And then we're going to send Bryce Young and something. That something being... wow. What, Jalen Warren maybe? Maybe if you do a trade like that, you can justify sending the 208. You know?
Sure, because then, yeah, that makes sense. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone there.
I prefer that over a Devonta Smith move, but C. Faust could use an RB quarterback too. I don't think anything makes sense there. You probably can't get Rashik Rice, but if you could, that'd be awesome. This guy's Daniel Jones, but again, nothing in between to make a deal work. Not going to send him away for Jameson or Tyreek or Diggs. DJ Moore, I don't know. I think I prefer Bryce Young right now. I still like DJ. It just, that draft pick really made things confusing. How about like an Ayuk Pacheco?
I think that could work.
I can't get Lyle McConkey or any of those names. You could probably get Jordan Addison. You could maybe get Ricky Pearsall and Aaron Jones. You know?
Yeah, I like all these. Yeah, I like all of them.
Those are all probably your best options there. Yeah. So again, that in route's very clear. I mean, like, full transparency. Let's say you did the Olave Pickens deal. Okay, so you add Olave, you add George Pickens, you lose a 208, and then you send the 108 for Jonathan Taylor. You can totally sell me on a contender for the team like this, right? So again, we're losing Bryce, the 108, the 208, but we're adding Olave, Pickens, and Jonathan Taylor to a team, and now we'd have Daniels, McCarthy, Taylor, and one of Pollard, Tracy, Warren, or whatever. Then we'd have Jefferson, Lamb. We'd have to figure out tight end still. But then you can flex names like Olave, Pickens. And that last flex is still a little tricky, but maybe we can send like a 26 first away. You know. So that's like the in route. But the out route, do we have information on those draft picks yet?
No, I don't think so. We were waiting for him. Maybe he put it in the back end. Let's have a look. You just refresh. But Jay, yeah, it would be helpful if you can tell us which teams, because it would just kind of put us in the blind spot. It wouldn't be able to give you the best.
Also, waiver wire we didn't look at, so... Well, that's because we can't really view the waiver wire right now, unfortunately. He says still grabbing. That's okay.
Okay, no stress. Hopefully, it can let you go through that.
Someone said if he gets Pickens, would he need to move CD? I don't think so personally, because, look, I'm not going to say this is Jamar Chase T Higgins, but I think it's a version of it. I do think Pickens can fill that T Higgins role, and it's an offense that has been throwing the ball top 5 in attempts per game in both of the last 2 years. So yeah. But yeah, the out route is is very simple. All we're trying to do is tear down from that 108 and then maybe sell a Tony Pollard in season. You know?
Yeah.
Sell Tony Pollard, sell Sam Darnold in season. Like that's the opposite of what we just discussed is going that direction with this team. But we will wait and see where all these picks are and see if there's another deal kind of in place that might make sense. But while we're waiting, just so you guys know, you can get your team playbook. Jay's going to get this playbook after we finish and within 48 hours. Complete game plan for his off season. You can get yours by becoming a promo code LAND annual Mother Flocker member. You'll get a voucher that you can use through the Flock store. Just make sure you choose Zach and Badake. Okay, and then make sure you put that tier as live as well. So you got to move that slider up to live with the demand that we currently have. So, yeah, that is available to you. You can check out the pinned comment, and I'll put another link in the chat for you now as well. Awesome. There was a question from Travis about a big money league. Someone dropped Evan Ingram last year, and the free agency starts tomorrow. He has $150 fab. $50 is $50 more than anyone else. How much should I put on him? Have Hawk and Kraft already. And this is kind of where I was going to go, what Sauce said. He says, how often can you guarantee a waiver wire addition that's going to get playing time and produce top 10, top 12 at their position? Even if you don't use him, you could trade him for another asset. Yeah, I think you can probably trade him for a second-round pick. And how much of your fab would you send for a second-round pick? I'd probably send all my fab away.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's a good point. Even if you have, TJ Hawkinson, I think you kind of, it's just worth picking up, securing. Because what if TJ goes down, Tucker Kraft goes down, they're not producing. We can easily see Tuck or Evan Ingram outproduce any of those guys at any point in time, potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay says Taco Shredder has a 109, so let's start there. Taco
Taco
Shredder. Where are we at, Taco? Taco Shredder has a 109. Okay, so if we were to tear down one spot, I actually don't need much to tear down personally because the 108 and the 109 are the same tier for me. So like a Jordan Mason is, I would probably accept that if someone sent it.
Sure.
A Jaden Reed. You know what I mean? Like those are the two names I think Jaden would make sense there. Or we could go like David Njoku as well. That would probably be the most helpful for you. Let's say Njoku and you sit like your 307 or something. You know, that would probably be best case scenario for you. But I'm also fine with Jordan Mason. I'm fine with a Jaden Reed we talked about. So I just think you're staying in the same exact player pool. The 110 is owned by
JNev.
DMNVITT.
Oh, sorry, 19. Okay, I read the wrong one.
Which I don't see. Maybe that's his sleeper username instead of his team name. Let's try the 111 instead. JNev is JNev. Okay, JNev we see here. He has the 111. Ayuk would be awesome if we could figure out a way to do it, but Strange? Maybe Strange in a third?
What's I'm trying to remember his tight end position. Yeah, Kate Alton, Ben Sinnott. Yeah, I'm okay with Strange.
I mean, I probably wouldn't be 100% opposed if it was just a fourth that we got on top of that, but that's definitely an option. And then the 112 was Mitch Ness. Mitch Nemo, which must be Mitch Nemo, right?
Yeah. So he has the 112.
Benson?
Yeah. I'll do a Shakir if you can as well, personally.
Shakir. Yep. Godwin.
Yep. So DM vet. I'm trying to see if there's like a D with any of these teams. Nah. Yeah, let us know the other team name. Obviously, Jay, you can probably see as we're scrolling through. We don't know who owns that 109.
No, it's the 110.
The 110, excuse me.
Because you might have put his sleeper name instead of his team name. But yeah, outside of that, like once we find out who has the 110, we'll give one more idea. But that's pretty much wrapped up in a bow there, Jay. And would also love to hear, any questions that you have, man. I mean, our goal, whenever you guys support us like this, and you get a playbook, you become an annual member, our goal is to make sure you get the best possible review, the best playbook, that you get the best bang for your buck. And I think, I'm pretty proud of what we offer and the attention we put into your teams. So, and we appreciate
Bobby.
You guys for letting us do that.
We're not Bobby, but fair.
You've said Bobby for like 4 teams.
I said Bobby. I know, dude. But appreciate you, man. Once again, once you get that in, we can definitely help you out. But you should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours. Everything customized to your team. But appreciate you, man.
Yeah, appreciate you big time, my dude. But what we might do is we might appreciate that, Sauce. Very kind of you, dude. We might move on. Let's see. Nasty is the 110. Okay. Nasty is the 110. Okay, let's see. Nasty here. So to move back to the 110. Look, full transparency, there's not really much on this team I think makes sense. Like, you're not going to move back for Jacoby Myers, Zach Ertz, Blake Corum. Evans is going to be asking too much. Same with the running backs and the quarterbacks. So I don't really think the 110 actually makes much sense. I think it'd have to be like a future second or something. Something simple like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. The only other thing is Pollard, if you sell in season, can you get an early to mid second? Sam Darnold, any first in any year. Again, this is the out route. And then if you can't get any first in any year, can you get multiple seconds? But yeah, man, that's a lot of detail there for that review. Appreciate you for being here. He says appreciate you both. Appreciate you. And we will go on to Annie's team. Annie is next.
Annie. Appreciate you, Annie. Thank you for being patient and just and waiting as well. Getting your playbook there, and we'll go straight into yours here as well. 2 quarterback, 2 tight end, 10 team start 13.
Wow, is this IDP or maybe?
Okay,
so this is 2 starting tight ends. This is very unique. Maybe that's why it's start 13, because it's actually a start 12, but you add another tight end on top.
Yeah, let us know there, Annie. Yes, there's IDP,
4 IDP slots. So it's actually start 9 offensive. Is that right, Annie? I'm guessing it's actually a start 9,
so
but
2 quarterback, 2
IDP is +4 there.
Wait, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so like according to this,
I'm guessing it's something like this for offense, and then you have 4 IDP spots. Let us know if that's right.
Yeah, because we won't count the IDP.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 quarterback, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 2 flex. But where's the tight ends at? Because it says 2 tight ends.
Huh. Okay. Wait.
Okay, so
hold on. Okay, so
just
6, 8, 10, 12. It's start 12 without IDP. So it's actually a pretty big lineup. So it's actually start 12. It's a depth is king. It's just different. So it's a depth is king, but it's 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and it looks like 2 flexes.
2 flex spots, 2
right?
flexes.
So
okay,
that's
so
6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah.
Okay, say less.
Or is there no flex at all?
Let us know if that one that Zach just put in the chat is that the correct lineup, Annie. And if not, what you can do is copy that and then change what that lineup looks like.
Okay, so I think what I put in is right then.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a big starting lineup. Yeah. Okay, cool.
He said, yeah. Okay, that's correct. Okay, awesome. Okay.
By the way,
so
I think it's a she. But let me know, Annie, if you are a boy or girl.
Sorry, I definitely say he. The person the human being.
Yes.
He says hi. First year doing Dynasty. Not sure.
We just said she's a girl.
I know. Sorry. What?
You
What
said
did I just say?
he said. You started off your sentence by he
Okay.
said.
Sorry. Hi. First year doing Dynasty. Sorry. Not sure what to do with my team. Is trading Loveland for Adams, Diggs, and likely a bad idea if I wanted to contend this season. I also am having trouble trading for running backs. Everyone in this league values running backs highly, even the vets. Should I make moves or hold? Jalen twerks with love.
Good job getting
is
into
your
a
team
Dynasty
name.
league because it's very fun. So let's start there. Congrats on your first Dynasty team. And go ahead and read the team. I'm just collecting the rookie information here.
No, that's all good. Let's have a look at this team here. Okay. Quarterback position, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love, Michael Penix, great quarterback room. At the running back position, looks like you already did your draft as well. Josh Jacobs, RJ Harvey, you got James Conner, Bashul and Tyrone Tracy, and the list goes on there. I think it's a decent running back room, especially getting RJ Harvey as your RB2 and having James Conner there in the wing. You can start up to 5 wide receivers in this league. Well, actually, you can start up to 3 running backs. So you're starting 3 is good with Tootin, Tracy, Travis there, which is, I guess it makes sense that the running backs are valued higher. In the wide receiver position, you can start up to 5. We like to prioritize wide receivers in the flex position. Brian Thomas, Drake London, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Richie Rich, Ricky Pearsall. You got Luther Burden, Jaden Reed as well, with Loveland, Ingram, Brenton Strange, Travis Kelce. So you have more than enough depth at the tight end position as well. I think this is a really good team, especially for getting into your first Dynasty team or league, and you have a good foundation for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. And looking at your drafts, let's just talk about the draft that you had as well. Nice draft. I gave you a B+ grade on your draft. Ended up with RJ Harvey, who will be a starter for you for sure. Colson Loveland, who will be a starter for you for sure. And then you have a couple names that I think will turn into that. For example, Luther Burden and Bashul Tootin. So 4 potential starters, 2 guarantees. I like that in a league like this. And then a lot, I just obsessed with filling my rosters on my taxi squads with like the James, the Brooks, like these late round running backs, and then as far as your waiver wire, the only rookies that are really enticing if you have any extra room is Phil Moffa and Deontay Thornton, but not obsessed with the waiver wire post draft. Your league did a good job of drafting the right players. So first off, great draft that you had there. One of the questions was, should she trade Loveland for Adams and Diggs? It's a hard pass for me for a lot of reasons, but first off, it's a start 2 tight end league. So if you were to move off of Loveland, you're starting Ingram and Strange and whatever is remaining of Kelce. In a start 2 tight end league, I think Colson Loveland has more value than he would in even a tight end premium league, So you can make an argument that Loveland is worthy of being drafted around the Travion Hendersons, the McMillans in, a rookie draft in this scenario. So it's a hard pass for me. But if you think about the starting lineup, it would be Hurts, Love, Jacobs, Harvey, Thomas, London, Loveland, Ingram. Actually, let me do this again because I'm actually going to look at the way your starting lineup is roster. Okay, so 2 quarterbacks. All right, Hurts and Love. 3 running backs, Jacobs, Harvey, Connor. 3 wide receivers, Thomas, London, JSN. 2 tight ends would be Loveland and Ingram. And then now we can flex 2 names, which would be Rashee Rice, Ricky Pearsall, Burden, Reed, Tootin, Tracy, if they become something. I don't really think this team needs to make a move. I really think you can compete with this team right here, right now, with the way it's constructed. I don't think you need to go and get a Devontae Adams.
No, I completely agree. I think you have enough depth, especially specifically at the tight end, the running back, honestly, everywhere. You have the perfect balance of a team right here, right now.
We could look at moving Kelce. I'd move Kelce out of that tight end room, and I do remember likely was a part of that trade, but it's still a hard pass for me. Adams is worth like a mid to late second right now in rookie drafts. Loveland in this format, I would value as like a top 6 pick. So yeah, the value is pretty far off for me. But we can move a Kelce. I know he's not worth much right now, but we can move a Kelsey if we wanted to. I actually really like this team. I really don't think we need to do too much, but I'm gonna give this a. Considering how big the lineup is, you're solid across the board. I would probably put this at like. Does A- feel too ambitious? I don't know. Like maybe.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay.
I'd say B plus A-. That's
Yeah.
kind of the range that I'm in. I think that the depth is there. You have high talent, pretty much in almost every position outside of, I guess you can argue, the tight end and running back.
Yeah.
Even then, you have some guys that you can lean on and depend on, which is really good. I think you're definitely a contender in our eyes.
100%.
Some untouchables: Jalen Hurts, Brian Thomas, Holt, Ricky Pearsall, Richie Rich.
Burden,
I
you
guess
can
you
add to that.
Yeah, I guess you can put Luther Burden and Tootin, or you can even put names like Brenton Strange.
Yeah, that's
obviously
true.
Because in a tight end premium.
There's a lot of holds, a lot
sorry.
of players we like here.
Yeah, and then obviously drops. You can drop Malachi Corley, Sean Tucker, Jawan Johnson. You can even drop Deontay Johnson if you like. Isaiah Davis. I think you're pretty fine when it comes down to depth.
You don't need to drop anyone because you know, just so you know, like you've already maybe put the waiver wire there instead of drops because they've already finished their draft and I don't think they need to drop anyone. But Maffa and Thornton, like I would probably pick up Maffa over Corley and Deontay, you know, but you don't need to drop anyone if you don't want to make those moves. It's a very good team, honestly. I do not think you should do the other trade. So shall we talk about a Travis Kelce trade? Because my mind is all about how do we make the most complete roster here, given your very unique lineup. I think Kelce is expendable. I'm not opposed to doing like a Jaden Reed, Tyrone Tracy trade where we get a upgrade at running back.
Jaden Reed.
Or even
Tyrone
like a
Tracy
Jaden Reed and Travis Kelce. You know, there's different formats we can do here. Kelce and Tyrone Tracy. Like if we can do one upgrade at either running back or wide receiver with one of these packages, I would be down to do it. So basically, we need to find a tight end needy team. I think that will be easy in a start 2 tight end league. I actually think that's going to be very easy. For example, this guy's got Theo. He's got the Giants tight ends. That's it. So can we get? I mean, could you sell Kelce for? I'd love to target Kyron Williams here. So what about Kelce and Tracy? Could this be Kyron Williams? And then maybe we have to add Jaden Reed onto that. But because of the depth, I'd prefer to send like a second in the future. In fact, I would probably send a second and a third. I'm trying to value tight ends in a start 2 tight end league, but also recognize that Kyron Williams is clearly more valuable than these names.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a tight end premium, but it's a 2 tight end start. So it definitely helps this team, this person. I will find it difficult for them to for them to get this done. But if you can, this seems crazy.
Yeah. Shout out to Steve in the comment section, by the way. Says, got my review a while ago. The suggestion you guys gave helped me turn Kincaid, Brooks, Dell, and 2 seconds and thirds and some other junk into CMC, Kamara, Adams, Cup, and Njoku for my contender. Love the sound of that, man. That's great. Don't have your 26 second. Okay, yeah, that's a detail I should know. They have
that team that we're looking at right now has their seconds actually and thirds.
Right. Well, you have a third and you have a 27 second. So let's just say that's a 27 second instead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think something like that would make a lot of sense for a team that has no one. And Njoku Arroyo, they could still use a tight end too, I'd say. This would be like Chase Brown as a target in my mind. Similar deal, but you probably have to pay more for Chase Brown right now than Kyron Williams. Maybe that's 2 seconds.
Yeah, I agree.
But honestly, maybe you can get this deal done without the 2 seconds. I don't know. Again, it's difficult to know exactly how to value tight ends in this format. I think they're more valuable than any other format in yours. Would love to turn like Kelsey into Mixon. If we can go Kelsey plus something and turn that into Joe Mixon. So like Kelsey and like Jalen Wright maybe?
Yeah.
Cedric Tillman, something like that.
Maybe Cedric, yeah, I would try and utilize.
Let's keep looking here. Ironclad has Tucker Kraft as his only starter. Can we get a Scattaboo in this deal? And it would be pretty much Kelsey and Tracy. Now,
Yeah, I like that.
that actually might be too much because there's a lot of people who think Scattaboo is still going to be behind Tracy. So can you get Scats and... I'd love to grab like Jaden Higgins if possible. And then we can send back Tillman.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep. That's not a perfect deal. I'll recognize that. Andrews and Taylor, they could use someone for sure. I don't actually think anything makes sense here, though. The guy who has Jake Ferguson is his tight end too. Can we get like an Ayuk or a Chuba? So it'd be the same type of offer there. Tyrone, Tracy, Kelsey for Chuba Hubbard. And then it would be similar for Ayuk. I think it would be something like, but probably only need to go a third there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Those are kind of all the main
with all those
ways I'm trying to make a move. The guy who has Sam Laporta, honestly, like I don't personally think Kelsey for Adam straight up is unrealistic. But if you had to do Kelsey and like Travis Etienne maybe
right.
Tillman.
Yeah. Tillman, yeah. Try and throw one of those guys we utilized earlier.
I don't think you should pay any more than something like that. And then all these other guys seem pretty set at tight end. But you could potentially net a CMC with this guy who has Kyle Pitts as his tight end too. CMC would be like the same range as... you'd probably have to pay the Kyron Williams price. But maybe he's slightly cheaper, CMC. So maybe instead of having to send that second, it's actually a third. You know?
Yeah.
But I think Kelsey is the key to getting some sort of deal done here. But honestly, I have,
like you said, like
no problem just keeping this team the way it is. You know?
Yeah, you really don't have to make a move here. And I completely agree. I think once you said that, I was like, I actually... Even keeping Kelsey in a premium like this, not even a premium in a league like this, but you can start two. We don't know what Loveland's workload's going to look like. I know Kelsey took a massive step back, so he might even be your starting tight end coming into week one.
Yeah.
Until we figure things out, and that can arguably be more. That can give you more of a value in season. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Andy. Thank you so much for your support. You should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours in the Flock Fantasy message system, customized with everything that we drew up here today. And the floor is yours. Let us know if you have any last minute questions, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we want to make sure we hit everything that you wanted us to do.
And just want to reply to JTube. We're currently going through people's teams who are supporting us, like on an annual basis over there to keep the lights on. So we probably can't sit down and walk through what draft picks to make for your team right now, my friend. But what I can say is if you go to flockfantasy.com/land, you can sign up for a free account over here on the Flock site, and a lot of features you'll get for free. So you'll be able to get like consensus rankings for free from all the creators. You'll get the expert consensus for free, and you can kind of reference that. So that will be helpful for you. And then you can get like the My Teams feature for free. A lot of this stuff is paid features, but we try to give you guys some free options there to help out. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. And he says RBs were hard to trade for. Haven't really tried for tight ends yet. Thanks, you guys. You reviewed my team in December. I was only a sleeper. Traded the 104 plus Olave for Jacobs and JSN. Yeah, I like that move right now again. If you could redo that, I still like that move. No worries, Annie. I'm glad it was a helpful review. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, we've got a couple more we're going to get through today. Let me go ahead and refresh and kind of see where we are right now. Let's see. Who is next? Well, we're waiting on Bobby because we need some information.
Yeah, waiting on Bobby. I think
Late Gollishes is currently offline. We have to wait from them. We do have a live one from Echelon. Do you want to do Echelon and Booty Clap to finish up here?
Sure. Let's do it. All right, let me make a chalkboard for you and let us know if you're here with us. 376 and Echelon.
No worries, JTube. Hopefully that is going to be helpful, man. There's a lot of great resources over there that are free.
Okay.
All right. Echelon's is up. Appreciate y'all for being here with us. Right after these two playbooks, guys, we are going to give away a trade question voucher on the Flock site. So if you want to be entered, all you got to do is type land into the YouTube chat and like the stream.
Yeah, we're also going to do the draft order for the Manhattan League as well quickly before we go.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at this. So this is a 2-quarterback, 12-team start 10. So that's a classic middle ground.
Yep.
I'll put that in the chat there for you guys. You currently rank 3rd out of 12. He says, coming out of a rebuild last season, this is the squad after an offseason full of moves. Curious what you guys think I should do next. Thanks. Cool. All right, let's have a look. Drake May, Brock Purdy, Tyler Shough. It looks like you did your rookie draft already. I think there's a good quarterback room, especially with Tyler most likely being that starting quarterback, and people are still drafting him in the 2nd round there, which is great value at the running back position. Chuba Hubbard, Christian McCaffrey, Joe Money Bags, Aaron Jones, Isaac Horrendo. I think this is a good depth running back room of some good veterans, with Chuba Hubbard being the young guy there. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 5. Ryan Thomas, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico, Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk is your starting 5 with Kyle Williams, Jalen Coker, with David Njoku and Brenton Strange. This is not a tight end premium, but this is a good team. I think this is... I like this team. I think there's good wide receivers. I think there's good depth at the running back position. Your tight ends, you have some options. Quarterback is a good position as well. And having that 3rd option, even though it is a rookie. But going straight into some admins here, Brian Thomas, I would say obviously is a hold, untouchable. Excuse me. I wouldn't even throw Amon-Ra St. Brown in there.
Yep.
Hold Brandon Ayuk.
Yep. Isaac Horrendo.
Yep.
You could even put Jalen Coker as a hold, Brenton Strange, Tyler Shough.
Isaac Horrendo, Brenton Strange.
Tyler Shough should be ranked higher, to be honest, in my rookie rankings now that Derek Carr is officially retired. So probably will reassess that. But drops, I don't really think we should put drops because he's already finished his rookie draft. So I think on the waiver wire, the names that stood out to me, if you want to add this to the playbook, is Kendre Miller, Parker Washington, and LaKent Allen. Those were like the 3 names that I would keep an eye on. But like, I'd rather roster Kendre than Jalen Lane, for example. But that's just my take. And I don't expect either of those guys to really make an impact on your roster. Looking at your draft, I would actually love if you could just take a second and just give us like a Twitter version of how your offseason went, because you mentioned you were a rebuilder. And the reason I'm asking this is because I was looking at the draft that you just had, and I graded it a C-. Not that it's a bad draft, just you didn't really add any name I could point to that's going to make a big impact on this roster. Tyler Shough has a chance to be the starter. He probably will start this year. He's almost guaranteed to start this year at some point. But You know, that round 2 hit rate is not great historically, so there's no guarantee he's going to work out, but good guy to have on your roster right now. I love Woody Marks. Y'all know this. I think he could have a serious role. Love Kyle Williams. Kyle Williams is probably the player I'm most excited about here, but I can't really grade this draft and say, you know, you made a huge impact on your roster at this point. So I am just curious. You must have spent a lot of those picks to build out a team, because overall, like the team as a whole is pretty nice. I mean, if you think about it, you know, you've got Drake May, Brock Purdy starting, then Chuba, CMC, Thomas, Amon-Ra, and Njoku, and then we can only start 3 more names between Collins, Olave, Ayuk, Mixon, Jones. You have a very good starting lineup, you know, and you even have depth if CMC goes down, if a Nico Collins has an injury. You know, you have plenty of depth to kind of fill the gaps there. So overall, like, I would give this team probably a solid like B+.
Okay.
It's a good team. I definitely think we're going to go like the contending route with this. No doubt about it. There's no reason not to contend with a roster like this. But I'm just curious, you know, how the picks were used. But also looking at the first round next year, he has 4 first-round picks. And we don't know what his 27 picks look like. Oh, we do. I don't see a 27 first. Maybe you sent away your 27 first-round picks.
Yeah, he doesn't have his first or his second in 27, but he has a lot of picks. I wonder who you traded away for the whole.
Yeah. But I'm not even opposed to like maybe using some of these firsts to upgrade.
Get a little bit more.
But
yeah.
You know, let's see. So he has dogs. So dogs we could use. That's going to be a late first. He has Gibbs Me Pit Stains. Where's Gibbs Me Pit Stains? Their team's rough. I'd hold on to that pick. Unsolicited Knicks picks. Their team is on the rougher side. I'd probably hold on to that. But you could definitely use your own first and dogs first. Your 26 first. Or dogs.
He said had literally 0 running backs, then moved the 101, the 105, the 108 with players like Rice, Ladd, Marvin to stock up my running back room, and added BTJ, Nico, and Amon-Ra.
Okay, nice.
So you had the 101, the 105, and the 108, and you got players like Rashee Rice, who you don't have, Ladd McConkey, who you don't have, Marvin Harrison to stock my running back room, and then you added AJ Brown, Nico Collins, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little bit confused, though, because, you know, he said he had 0 running backs. He moved the 101, 105, 108. Rice, Ladd, Marvin. That's a huge amount of players. And then our running back room only looks like Chuba, McCaffrey, Mixon. I'm shocked that those are the names that we ended up with. They're good, but those are not the players you trade for with those picks that you mentioned. So I'm still a little confused.
Even if you had Rice, Ladd, Marvin, let's just say we just swap it out. You have Rice, Ladd, Marvin, you had Brandon Ayuk, but then you would have drafted Ashton Jeanty. You would have drafted potentially Travion Henderson or Quinshon Judkins. You would have drafted another wide receiver like a Golden or a tight end, you know?
I'm sure it makes sense. We're probably not just processing it well, but the team is very good, like we said. Let's just focus on where the team is as of right now. But I'd love to go out there and use like a first Joe Mixon to get something, you know? Like if we can go 26 first plus Joe Mixon, and again, it's like, you know, let's say like here. And let's find a team that is really heavy on running backs. For example, Dogs. Oh, well, Dogs has Jeanty. You obviously traded him, Jeanty. I mean, could we be a Jahmyr Gibbs team? Can we send both of our firsts? And Joe Mixon, you know?
Yeah.
Can we get a Jahmyr Gibbs?
We got 3 firsts to work with here. If you keep your first and 26 and utilize the other 3, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, well, in this scenario, you're actually using yours and Dogs 26 first, so 2 plus Joe Mixon as like a starting point. Let's keep looking here. Don't hate the idea of like getting a Hampton if we were to go like Mixon. Yeah, I mean, let's keep looking though. like Achan. I think I would pay that for Devon Achan.
Yeah, I'm there with you.
I mean, honestly, I would pay that for Achan. I would pay that for Hampton. I would pay that for that range. You know, to kind of give you that little oomph that you might be missing in that running back room.
Yep.
Wouldn't even mind sending like a 26 first for Breece Hall. Or a Jonathan Taylor. You know? But actually, I feel like you already have startable names. I'd rather do these tier ups instead. You know, I'd rather kind of make a difference.
Yeah, you'd rather tier up and get a heavy hitter
Saquon,
in a league like this.
Can you do, instead of it being Mixon, can you send those 2 first and Aaron Jones for Saquon?
Yeah, so he said he traded the 101 for the 103 in the 26 first, traded the 103 for Monroe St. Brown, traded the 108 Rice and the 26 first for Brian Thomas and Henry, who are traded with Anthony Richardson to get Purdy.
Okay, I don't love the 101 trade personally. Just I'm imagining it was for Dogs first, right? Because that's the first that you have, and that's who has Genty. That's a late first, you know. I wouldn't have given up Genty for a late first there to move back. And then I love the Amon-Ra deal, so I will say that.
Yeah, Amon-Ra.
You know, if you think
good
about it, if it's Genty for Amon-Ra on a first, that makes more sense. So that was very smart. So makes sense. But with one of these deals, we can kind of give you that little cornerstone at running back that this team might be missing. I'd love to send Mixon and a first for a Bucky Irving as well. Maybe you don't have to send Mixon. Is your league lower on Bucky? Can you just send Aaron Jones in a first? You know? And I'm being very specific with the picks that we're using because we don't want to use those other picks, right? So keep that in mind. But yeah, like the team is very well balanced. I just think you could use a couple upgrades.
Yeah, some heavy hitters.
If you can afford them, you know.
Especially with the draft capital. And if you can sell a late first, like Zach said, which is Dogs, and get the Gibbs,
yeah,
that would be huge. You know, that would be great because you're essentially getting a steal, and someone's not necessarily reading that if your team is not as sharp or your league is not as sharp.
To be honest, like the running back position is the only position I'm really like desperate to tier up at, but you can maybe take the hype of a Tyler Shuck if you wanted to, and you could turn Brock Purdy into more your quarterback 3 and send both of these firsts. Let me see. Let me grab this. Oh, my mouse is going crazy. Sorry. Pick back up. Okay. Tyler Shuck and both of those firsts. And then, you know, what sort of quarterback range can we get into? Let me look at my rankings. Like, can you do that for a Hurts or a Burrow? Maybe you're right outside that range. But can you do that for maybe like a Mahomes, Mahomes, Herbert, Knicks?
Yeah, I was gonna say Knicks feels like really good right there.
Yeah,
in my opinion, we're big Bo Nix believers here.
Yeah. Ideally, I'd like to do one of these running back moves. You know, again, imagine adding a Gibbs or an Achan or a Saquon instead of Mixon. I mean, that just makes your lineup more dangerous. You're already going to make the playoffs. Let's be very clear. You're already going to make the playoffs. We're just trying to give you that superstar, that guy in the playoffs that can give you a 40 bomb any week on the roster. So I like the team, man. You should feel very good about it, and would love to hear any questions that you have. You're in the right direction, no doubt about it. But I do think, full transparency, looking at the team, I think we probably could have used like a Genty. Just my opinion.
Yeah. Look,
but I like that he ended up getting a Amon-Ra on the first.
Yeah, I think getting a Amon-Ra, getting Brian Thomas is pretty significant there. I would look to I wish you can see what teams look like. You can just go to team history before trades. Like that should be a thing during sleeper. That would be amazing if they could do that. But anyways,
He said, do you think 3 quarterbacks is worth it? I go back and forth on it. To me, I
yeah, I think
very rarely contend with 2 quarterbacks. And the only reason I say that is there are some leagues where it's inevitable, but the amount of injuries that have happened in the last 2 years at the quarterback spot, I mean, more than half of the starters have gone down each of the last 2 years. So you almost need 3 quarterbacks when you're contending there because that super flex spot is so important. But they're also, they hold value really well. So if you ever wanted to consolidate, you could easily send a quarterback away in a super flex league for something else.
Yeah, we both changed our tune after a couple of years where like literally half the league went down with quarterbacks, and before then we were always like, yep, 2 quarterbacks is fine in a super flex league. You're never not going to start the third quarterback. But we've seen Brock Purdy miss a couple games. We've seen Drake May, if I'm not mistaken, miss a couple games due to injuries, especially with the offensive line, if I'm not mistaken. So, or be shaken up. And if you don't have that QB3, then I think that's pretty significant. That can definitely hurt your team and put you in a real down tier there. But hey, let us know if you have any last minute questions. Obviously, you already got some in, but you should be receiving your playbook here within 24 to 48 hours on the Flock Fantasy message system with everything that we drew up here for you today. But we appreciate you and your support, man. Love.
He says, wasn't sure if I should buy a third mid-season if needed, since I had 7 decent picks next year. You definitely don't need to. Like, let's be clear, but the picks that we are specifically using are picks that we believe will be late picks, right?
Yeah.
That's why we were very specific there. I wouldn't sell those other 2 picks, but your pick and Dog's 26 first-round pick, those are very expendable, in my opinion, to improve this roster, whichever way you prefer to improve it,
Yeah. And if you were going to buy somebody, I think it could be a really good deal. Like normally, I would normally say like the Matthew Staffords of the world, or the
yeah, you can go the cheap route if you want to send a second for an aging vet.
Yeah, Matthew, exactly. Like get an aging vet quarterback, but don't pay a premium for someone that you're gonna be plucking your plucking your hairs at night, saying I don't know who to start. Or you can go that route. Doesn't really matter. I think we would prioritize running backs there. But appreciate you and your support, man.
Yeah. Course. All right, last team playbook of the day. Of course, if you want your team playbook, you can check out the link in the pinned comment there. Annual Mother Flocker members get a voucher that they can use through the Flock store. Just make sure you slide that to the live tier. That would be $7 for annual members, but you can also purchase a playbook if you're a member on a different promo code through the Flock store as well. Booty Clap King is here with us. Let's go to his team here, and Booty Clap I know is in the chat with us.
All right, so I'm just gonna make a chalkboard for him.
Yeah. Let's see. It's a start 11, by the way. 12 team start 11. So.
Okay, that's rolling deep. Here, I'll put that in the chat here for you guys. But yeah, that is a rolling deep type of formation, and we will have a look at that 2 quarterback 12 team start 11 with a full point tight end premium, which is significant.
Yeah, 2 point per reception and a full PPR.
And this is a 12 team currently ranked first out of 12. Let's have a read. This 2 point tight end league recently trade was for Kincaid and a 26-second for Waddle. Just wondering what I can do to make the team better. Teams who won't trade in this league are Blockett, Phil, and Dingleberry.
Well, you're very clearly the number 1 team here.
Yes,
when you look at my rankings.
Let's have a look at
collect his rookie picks, but go ahead and read out the team.
Yeah, let's have a look at this as I'm just marking down some stuff. Okay. At the quarterback position, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Brock Purdy. I think that's a great quarterback room. You don't really have to do much there. At the running back position, Jahmyr Gibbs, Travion Henderson, Devon Achane, Bashul Tutin, Trevor Etienne, and the list goes on. I think that's also a great running back room already. At the wide receiver position, you can start up to 6 wide receivers. Here's your starting 6: JJ, Marvin, T. And then it falls off. Coker, Jimmy Horn, Jahan Dotson. It really falls off hard there with Colston, Loveland, Dalton Kincaid. I'm interested to know, Booty Clap King, where did you draft Loveland at in this draft?
Yeah, great question, actually.
And you still have your 26 first there.
Wow.
Okay.
What?
Wait,
the 201?
You dropped on the 201, you have a full point premium?
There's no way. Are you joking me? Did your entire league fall asleep while you were drafting or something?
Where did Tyler Warren go?
That's crazy.
I'm assuming higher, maybe. But anyways.
So thinking about the starting lineup here, right? It would be Daniels, Purdy, let's say for now, Gibbs, Henderson, Jefferson, Marvin, Loveland, and then we can still start 4 more names between Higgins, I guess Kincaid in this format, Toot and Coker. Like the top end talent here is very evident, but it does lack some depth. Let's be honest, in a format like this. I'm not sure if I would prefer Kincaid or that Waddle side of it, but in a premium, Kincaid is obviously very valuable. Well, he is valuable in general. Is there anyone on the waiver wire that's interesting here? Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Thornton is an interesting name just because of the draft capital. It's pretty naked for the most part. LeJontay Westers and a terrible kind of desperation ad. Not desperation, but like a dart throw. He says, was thinking of flexing Hunter Henry since okay, yeah, Hunter Henry. Yeah, I guess you could flex him. Kate Otten would have been a great flex last year.
So you're looking at this as flexing some other. So, yeah, right. Okay. Untouchables: Daniels, Justin Jefferson, holds Marvin Harrison, Jalen Coker. Let me know if there's any other holds. I guess we can put names like. I guess we're not gonna do anything with like the Lovelands or Kincaid, but we can put Dalton Kincaid in there. Obviously, you held him in a full point premium. You want to hold him, and let's put Hunter Henry like you said.
Yeah.
And then drops, KJ Osborne, Daisy Hutchinson are good 2 guys that you can drop there.
So I'm thinking about a tear down of Drake May, just to fill out this roster a little bit. So right now, if you look at KTC, we've got Drake May, who I really like. I mean, you guys see I like him, right? He's at quarterback 6 for me, but it's more like quarterback 12 in reality, because that tier is so fluid. I just don't care who you have from 6 to 12. But I'd like to tier down just to fill out this roster a little bit. And I'd like to target a Love, Kyler, Baker, JJ, Trevor, Penix, Goff.
Okay.
I think that's probably where I would want to go. Okay, so again, the names that I said was Jared Goff. I said Trevor Lawrence. Sorry, I'm trying to remember all the names I just mentioned. So I don't think you can tear down to like Jordan Love, but let me go back to this page. Sorry, I should have written this down as I was doing it. So like Baker Mayfield. And I love Drake May, by the way. I prefer to hold him, but I think you could benefit. McCarthy is probably the most ideal player to tear down to. Talked about Lawrence. Penix is another option there. Goff, we already had. So those are the guys that I would like to try and tear down to, because I just think we could benefit from it, given how big this starting lineup is.
Yeah.
But let's go through admin. Have we done any admin?
Yeah, the pathways. Oh no.
Definitely, like we didn't say it yet, but definitely a contender for sure.
Yes, I could have sworn I
Did you go
that.
Through? Your
I
mic
could have sworn I wrote that.
apparently. Hold on.
Okay, I'm sorry. I talking to you. I could have sworn I just wrote that down, but all that's gone. Hold on. Okay, yes. We did go through admin, Justin Jefferson, Jaden Daniels, Justin Jefferson. We did all that on the untouchables and holds and drops.
Okay.
Main pathways, overall draft capital and all that is what we need.
Okay, Contender. Overall team grade, very good. We just need to focus on some depth because it really falls off with our depth. I will put like an A, probably an A flat for this team. A minus. Let's say A minus. Draft capital grade, pretty indifferent on, just a B flat, nothing crazy.
That's everything.
All right, so first off, with your draft haul, I gave it an A minus grade. I originally was going to give you a B plus, but I found out you got Loveland at the 201, which is ridiculous in a full point premium league. That's insane.
That is
genuinely
wild,
ridiculous. So to add Henderson, instant starter. To add Loveland, instant starter. You know, he might take a while as tight ends do, but he's going to be a real foundational piece for you in this premium format. Tootin in the fourth, he just said insane. It sounds like your league has no idea what they're doing. But yeah, A minus, great draft overall. You should feel great about it. The only thing I really want to do is tear down from Drake May. Okay, that's really, I don't look at the rest of this roster and see another move I want to make. And I don't even want to tear down from Drake. I should say that. I just feel like we kind of need to. So why don't we start with whoever owns Baker Mayfield?
Okay. Let's see Baker Mayfield.
So the Baker Mayfield owner. I'd love to go like Baker, Pearsall.
Well, apparently teams who won't trade in this league are Dingleberry, and he has Baker Mayfield.
Okay, so Dingleberry won't trade. Okay, so we'll rule out Baker there.
So I got JJ.
Let's go McCarthy then. Okay, that's the other guy. That's Flockett's. That's
okay.
Really annoying because I would have preferred McCarthy over any other name as a trade target, but
Michael Penix then.
Let's go Penix.
Check my Penix.
All right, so Penix. Penix Ayuk is super interesting. Like Penix Ayuk Chuba. I'm not sure if you can get that much.
Sure.
But I really like that kind of format in this deal. Wouldn't be afraid to send like your second if you need to get a deal like that done. That actually feels pretty fair. Drake May in a second for Penix Ayuk and Chuba based off current consensus rankings. Maybe if they don't want the second, can you send... Man, you don't have much on this roster. That's like a middle ground. Yeah, it would have to be the picks. You can't really meet the value anyway else. I don't think I'm doing this deal without Hubbard. I wouldn't do it for Penix and Ayuk alone. So if they say no, then it would have to be like Penix and Tet McMillan. And then I'll send them Drake May and a first. I'll say my first, and I want their second. So like a pick swap.
Yeah, I think that's great. Sorry, just reading those people in the chat. All right, Trevor Lawrence. Let's see, Lawrence.
Mike, I don't know. I'm not sure who you're referring to there, Mike. Sorry, I don't know which player you're referring to, Mike.
I think he's talking to booty clapping, but I could be wrong.
Oh, okay. Let's try Trevor next.
Yeah, Trevor, show me your TDs. We're trying to get rid of May.
Okay, so Trevor, this will be like Trevor Olave. Maybe we go running back. Trevor Brees Pickens, and we find a way to even it out.
Trevor Brees Pickens.
And we send that second from you. I would even send a third to get something like that done.
Sure.
But if you can't get Brees and Pickens, can you get Cook and Pickens?
I like that as well.
So both of those are great options. Who has Jared Goff? So Jared Goff here. Like Goff, Travis Hunter is probably enough for me.
Oh yeah, Goff. I would throw Garrett Wilson as well, being okay with me. I'm okay with DJ Moore, but you would have to throw something onto that.
Yeah, it would have to be like DJ Moore plus a first.
Yeah.
And then we can send back a second.
Yeah, I think that's better. I mean, not better, but I think that feels good. I'm still a believer in DJ, like, and then you can still get a first in the future, especially if he's a little bit shaky about it. I know you have, I know you don't have Luther Burden. I think that was the other team.
It's a good team,
yeah,
though, honestly.
It is a good team, and with the premiums, you have enough depth at the tight end position, like you kind of mentioned there. Booty clap.
Yeah,
this is good.
Yeah,
and you could put these running backs into flex as well.
100%. Yeah, I mean, and who knows what he could be, right? Every once in a while, every offseason, you have like kind of a feeling about a certain player. I can't help but feel, whether it's rational or not, that Tootin is the next Bucky Irving. I can't help but feel that way. And I guess could be totally off on that. But
is that big? Yeah, I mean, I don't have that feeling, not because I don't think they're going to give up on Trevor or Tank. I could be completely wrong. Travis, excuse me, or Tank. I still think they'll give him a chance, but they have to fail tremendously for them for Tootin to be the guy there and take off like Bucky. So
yeah, I mean, did they not already do that last year?
Yeah, but that was someone completely different.
Yeah, I don't think Liam Cohen has any allegiance to the running backs that are there, and I love.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. But I guess what's so interesting is like you just don't know like their process for those guys. Like, what if Liam Cohen loved Travis coming out of college, and that was a guy he wanted to draft? He sees him as he was going to draft him. Like you just don't know what their scouting process and their projections were for those players. So they can definitely. I think that's one thing I heard in the podcast. Like, you just never know how people love other players and how other players view them, you know?
Of course. But I certainly don't think if you own Travis Etienne or Tank Bigsby, you're feeling like confident. Like,
absolutely
this is great. They're the guys.
Absolutely not.
But anyway, I definitely agree that's kind of all I would suggest. I wouldn't tear down from Daniels personally.
No.
I would rather just ride with him and compete. The good thing about May is he's technically not really broken out yet, but he has the prices if he has, because we all loved him as a prospect. So you're taking less risk trading him away, but you still need some of these top end guys, you know, and your roster isn't that shallow where you need to tear down from a Gibbs or a Daniels. Someone asked, is Nick Chubb worth drafting a startup? I wouldn't draft him.
No.
Unless your startup is like 30 rounds deep or something.
I just don't know if there's a team out there that is going to pick up Nick Chubb and he's instantly going to be the starter. I don't think you can name one right now that could be the case. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's one with confidence that is going to be starting him over any other guys they have on their roster or they drafted.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I want to give a heads up. MDK Dacey, you got an offline playbook. I sent you a message, and just let me know if you want to upgrade or if you want to keep it offline. Completely up to you. Bobby, you did get an online playbook. You got a live one, but we have no information about your league's draft picks, so it's hard to grade your team. Look at the message tab on your reviews on the Flock site. Dizzy, yours is offline. Lake Galish's, yours is offline. So keep that in mind. It's 30 rounds. Look, there would have to be like an incredibly high amount of players not available for me to draft Nick Chubb. But yeah, I'm going to quickly refresh here. Appreciate you, Booty Clap King. We have a trade question that will end this segment, and then you're going to do this. We're going to give away the trade question voucher, and then Banaki's going to set the draft order for one of his leagues. Travesty here says, start 9 Superflex, a little weak at quarterback. They'd be sending away Brian Thomas for Jordan Love and Garrett Wilson. Overall, I think it's a pretty fair trade.
Yeah, I think so as well. I don't mind that trade.
But hold on. They already have Nix, Trevor, and Tua. You're not weak at quarterback. Why would we add a fourth quarterback in a small 10-team league? I'm sorry.
Travesty.
I'm actually not going to do this deal.
You know us, Travesty. what don't you like about your quarterback room? Are you not excited about Bo Nix? Are you not excited about Travis?
I think Trevor and Tua probably not excited about, but
Sure.
I'm
I have a little bit more
small
confidence.
small starting lineup. I'm just gonna keep Brian there.
I'm not a big Trevor Lawrence guy, but like for someone that has Trevor Lawrence in a couple leagues, I've gained a little bit more confidence with his surrounding supporting cast, right?
Yeah.
So not enough to make a move like this and give up Brian Thomas, but I can understand your concern because that's where I'm at as well.
Strong keep on Brian for me. All right. Shall we give away our giveaway today, which was a trade question voucher on the Flock site? All you had to do is type land into the YouTube chat.
All you had to do. LAND.
I just refreshed the site and it took away all the entries. All right. You'll never have a better chance at winning something than you do right now. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to give you... We'll do your thing first, Badaki, and I'll say this.
We can do ours first, and then we'll give people time to enter. So if you guys want to win a free trade question voucher on the Flock Fantasy website, all you have to do is type in land in the chat. Also, make sure you like the stream. That will automatically enter you into that raffle or into the giveaway for tonight. But as you do that, we're going to be doing our Manhattan League.
We're going to raffle off these spots for the draft order for the Manhattan League. But type land into the chat, like the stream. We'll do that giveaway afterwards. Sorry, I went full, all right, so it's a 12 team, right? Tell me the names I'm supposed to be typing in here.
I can give you names. Okay. Dutchie. Risk It for Brisket. Lazy Bone. Crush 5, Drop Top Killer, Patty Mag, Wolfman ATX, Nabblers NALBS15, Stay Puff, and then Macy, myself, and Joel.
Okay. All right. Did you send out a notification to them?
Yeah, I'm about to do that right now.
All right. I'm going to shuffle this. How many times? Someone give me a number in the chat.
A number.
1 to 10. Someone give me a number 1 to 10. How many times should I shuffle this bad boy? 6 was the first thing I saw. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So it has been shuffled. Badaki, you look like you are at the bottom.
I'm on the bottom there. Okay. What am I believing for?
Everyone has the same odds, by the way.
I'm believing for. What am I believing for? What should I have? Start off strong.
I think the 12 feels right for you. The 12 spot. All right. Here we go. Ready?
I don't want the 12.
In 3.
Give me 7. Give me 8. 7, 8, 9. I'm okay with that.
2, 1. This is determining the draft order for the Manhattan League as.
Oh my gosh! And I'm not even moving.
Badaki is. This is too realistic. Badaki's still at the 5-yard line.
This is too realistic. You haven't seen me run, kid.
I've seen you run. I have. If anyone's seen you run, it's me. Stay Puffed is now at the 25-yard line. He is leading the pack right now, but Macy is not far behind him on his tail. Badaki's still, more towards the back of the pack here. Little burst from Crop Top Killer here as he almost reaches the 50-yard line. First across the 50 is Crop Top Killer, but Joel Verse is on his heels. In fact, he just got a little boost of nitro there, like a Fast and Furious character.
There's a God in heaven, and he loves me. I believe.
Right now, it's Joel
6, 7, 8, 9.
and Crop Top who are battling out for the #1 spot here. But
6, 7, 8, 9. Please,
don't worry, we're seeing Lazy Bones and Dutchie. They pulled a hammy, unfortunately, at the 50-yard line. Please. Joel looks like the heavy favorite, but Stay Puffed is not out of this yet. It looks like it's going to come down to the wire. And ladies and gentlemen, the first overall pick is going to Stay Puffed by a second. Then Joel Verse, Crop Top Killer.
Give me 4.
Badaki is going to land at 4th.
I'll take 4. I'm okay with 4.
I know some of them words.
I know some of the words.
And it looks like we're going to have a huge race for 5th here. Anyone is possible. Oh, Nate Nalbs Macy, 5th, 6th. Then 7th is up for grabs here. And it looks like it's going to go to Patty Mag. Then Brisket with 9th. Wolfman with 8th. 10th to Crush. 11th to Lazy Bones. And Dutchy still hasn't crossed the finish line. And there goes Dutchy at 12th overall, unfortunately.
Oh, Dutchy. Oh, Dutchy. Okay, then before you do that, let me just set the draft order. Commish.
I just sent you that on Facebook as well, so you can see it. But
okay, awesome. Yeah, and then you can do yours.
Okay, yes, we're gonna do our giveaway now. Again, I apologize. I don't know what happened. But we have 19 entries here, so you have probably the best chance ever at this one, guys. So let's go ahead and
19 entries, the best ever. Oh, that's
like
hilarious.
the best odds ever. Okay,
the
here we go.
The best odds ever. No, I get it. I get it.
A trade question voucher on the Flock site. We're spinning this, and it is going to go to the lucky winner. Is, oh my God, it was so close between Jonathan Smith and Joel Verse, but it is Jonathan Smith. Is Jonathan Smith out there? Jonathan, we need your Discord name, and then we will actually. Jonathan, just tell me your Flock Fantasy username. Let me know. Joel was very, very close there. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was gonna go to Joel, but Jonathan, are you out there, brother? Are you with us? Do you have a pulse? Let me know if you're there. Joel says he can't finish. Got to get back in the lab, Joel. But we need Jonathan Smith. We need you.
Let me put this crop top killer, and then I'm 4th. Not bad. 5th is Nobblers. Set this up right now. 6 is Macy. 7 is Patty.
Okay, Jonathan Smith is here. Jonathan, can you tell me your Flock Fantasy username? Or
8 is Wolf.
Or if you want to, just tell me your Discord username. Either way, let me know.
9 is Brisket. 10 is Crush 5. 11.
He says my life has changed.
11th is Lazy. And then 12 is Dutchy. All right. The draft order has been set, ladies and gentlemen. Please let me know if there's any mess ups there, Macy or Joel, but I think that should be all good. All Gucci.
Yeah, that's it for today, guys.
Yeah, let us know your Flock Fantasy username, because without that information, we would not be able to give that to you. So that would be really helpful here. But tomorrow we have another real rookie draft with our golf league.
Yes.
Another full rebuild for me, as you guys know. But I have the 101, 102, 107. I traded, I think, for the 102 earlier last year, and Billy. I don't know what happened to Billy's team, and Kyle. I forgot. I think I traded. This is the team. This is the one where I fucked up, and I was trying to get Chris Olave, and I sent like a first in the middle of the round, and he ended up getting taken. And then I took Allen Robinson. But 101, 102, 107, 201, 207 I have as well. But I know me and Tiz Bomb has been trying
Flock
to get stuff done.
Username is peculiarly 94. Okay. Beautiful. Sorry, go ahead and whatever you were saying.
No,
I wasn't listening. My bad.
That's it. You never listen. Get it?
Wasn't listening. Not gonna lie.
I get it. Never do. Never do. But appreciate you guys. All love. So tomorrow will probably be my last time on stream, and then on Thursday night I won't be on with Zach. So make sure you hold it down with him, because I'm getting my gallbladder out. Got surgery on Friday, but I should be back all good and strong next week. Monday night, we should be live.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to say. So a lot of you guys have drafted on FastDraft with us, okay? And it's a relatively new app, right? So you don't always get into a draft straight away. And a lot of people are asking about like a place they can go to where they can notify other people that they're in a draft and kind of, you know, make life easier. It's honestly, it's one of my favorite things about the draft is that it's still relatively young, so you have a very high chance of winning. But if you guys are interested and you do like playing Fast Draft with Badaki and myself, well, just want to give you a little heads up. There's now a Discord for Fast Draft. I put that link in the YouTube chat right there. Go join the Discord. And when you join, just put in like the, let me see, put in like the join a draft team or something. Just say like, Land sent me here. And I'll give you a little heart there, and I'll add you to a group chat if you want to be added to a group chat to join drafts.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, join that Discord, and that's it for today, guys.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Love Chasing Breakers. Yes, we're going to be raffling off tomorrow for the Brooklyn League as well. That's the big money league, $150 league. So if you guys haven't entered that and you are signed up with the promo code LAND, all you have to do is go to the announcements page and then look for that entry as well, okay? But other than that, we appreciate you guys. All love as always, and we'll see you mañana.
Letters.